episode of the Game Over Greggy Show is brought to you by Blue Apron. I've talked about Blue Apron quite a bit, ladies and gentlemen, because you know, hashtag cooking with Greggy. I cook all the time. And Blue Apron was a gift my mother gave me last year. I'm pretty sure she did not use the code. I'm not sure if we had the deal. But basically, Blue Apron sends you all the fresh ingredients you need to make awesome meals. And you might say, Greg, I have no talent at cooking like you do. And I will tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I once had no talent at cooking either before I became the male Rachel Ray. Basically, all you need to do is, these are 30-minute meals for the most part. They send you the instructions. You go through step by step with the pre-portioned ingredients, and you make whatever you want. Do you want to know some of the upcoming meals? Hell yeah, you do. Seared pork chops with farro and cranberry chutney. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds good. Spaghetti squash and marinara with mushrooms and garlic knots. Garlic knots are great. Spicy shrimp and Korean rice cakes with cabbage. And furry kaki. I can't be sure how you pronounce that, but that's how I'm going to do it. Anyways, it's affordable. It's less than $10 per meal per person. They deliver it all to you. It's seasonal. It's flexible. It changes. You get to go online, pick your meals. Everything's great. So here's what you do. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Greggy. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/Greggy. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Over Greggy Show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Top of the morning,
I fucking love this sweatshirt.
Yeah,
Where did you buy the terry cloth sweatshirt?
I think this is a Marine Layer sweatshirt. I got it in a local San Francisco brand named Marine Layer.
Okay.
They're made in this city as well. They're made over in the Mission.
Okay.
It's fun.
I think it's very fun.
I don't know if they still sell this. I'm sure they still sell a sweatshirt like this. Might be a different material, though. But you want the terry cloth. I'll get you a terry cloth one.
Thank you.
They're very warm.
You look warm.
You're covered.
But you look, yeah, that's why you're wearing them.
Yeah, I've been a little sick, and I was very cold last week, which added to the sickness, I think.
Yeah.
So now I'm going the opposite way. I'm trying to sweat it out. You know, it's working. I feel good.
Yeah, you're fighting it this way?
Yeah, I felt like shit yesterday. Well, not like shit. I felt decently bad yesterday, and I feel great. So
Decently bad to great.
I got the remnants in the throat now. I'm constantly clearing my throat, so I apologize for everyone out there listening. You're gonna hear a lot of this. That's what you're gonna hear.
Well, strap in for that. Over here, the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Well, it's good to be here with you today.
It's good to be here with you today. And there, the pure one, Tim Gettys.
Not the most.
Look at this black on black outfit.
The dark man.
It's great.
I'm calling you dark man from now on.
Can we just start?
Fucking charcoal.
Yeah, it's a dark charcoal gray.
There's a black on the charcoal gray.
It is a dark
He looks a
charcoal
little
gray.
like David Hasselhoff from Knight Rider. You know what I mean?
I'm into it.
Just constantly wearing all black.
That
Close.
was the baseline.
Batman.
There was so many.
That's what it sounds
So
like.
many things wrong with that.
I mean, I
It
can
was just the little beginning part.
I can almost grasp what you're trying, but I'm not. I mean,
the synth,
do it again.
like the just the beginning.
But then,
part.
what's the actual song? What's the actual? Yeah, that is it. Okay.
Damn, that's real far in the song.
And his name was the Knight Rider. You know, I did that.
And then Mr. Feeney comes in.
That was Mr. Feeney. That's right. Holy shit. Never put 2 and 2 together. Also, didn't realize that Rick Grimes in Love Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You didn't know that?
Yeah. Didn't know that.
He's in
Didn't realize
arguably
that.
Love Actually's worst storyline.
Oh, easily the worst storyline.
Or,
The
like,
creepiest.
Yeah.
Creepiest. My wife texted me yesterday. She was like, Rick Grimes is in it. And then she texted me someone else big that was in it.
Tons of people bigger.
The guy gets naked a lot in Westworld is in it.
Yeah.
You have the
It's
scar
like
on his
someone's
face?
weird fan fiction.
No, what?
Like the just Walking Dead and Westworld fan fiction.
Oh, I get
This is where they all cross over
in,
before all that.
London. Yeah, it's strange. Anyway, lots of stuff going on in Love Actually, very ahead of its time, apparently.
Lovely movie. I just watched it in theaters last week.
Watched last night.
Very ahead of
time.
its time, actually.
Great time.
Very ahead.
Very ahead of its time,
And they tried to
actually.
do it 5 more times with different holidays. It just didn't work out for them.
New Year's Eve wasn't that bad.
Well, Valentine's Day was.
Zac Efron kisses Michelle Pfeiffer.
That's hot.
It's very
I'd
hot,
watch them
man.
have
It's very
sex.
hot.
Did you know that Zac Efron owns Death Note?
Does he
property?
really? How did he get that?
I mean, he bought it. I'm sure he's bought it.
Smart. Is he going to be in it? Is he going to be? What do they call him? Jack Efron?
Well, Zac Efron. I
what
love
they call
that.
it
That's
now.
the new Zac Efron. Yeah. There was the Death Note movie that was being made by Warner Brothers for a while, and he was the lead in it. But then it sounds like I think he's now just making money off the Netflix show that's happening. Or
good
movie.
for him.
I guess. It's
Yeah, that's
Netflix
smart.
movie.
Buying up properties. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Zac Efron knows what's up.
Jack Efron.
Jack Efron. He does have quite the abs in this Baywatch stuff.
You see this Baywatch trailer, Colin? Oh, I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it a lot.
Yeah.
Is there women in it? Running
Oh,
around?
There are
There's a
women in it.
couple,
There are
yeah.
women.
Yeah.
The Rock's in it. Jack
Jack
Efron's
Efron.
in it.
Why are you
You
calling
do.
him that?
He's jacked.
should
He's
see him
so
now.
fucking jacked.
Is that what people are calling him?
Abs on abs on abs.
That's the thing that people are saying?
He looks almost sickly. He's so cut to the point where you're like, can you give him some water? Like it's not even a matter of food at that point. It's pure dehydration. In order to get your muscles that defined, I gotta think he was walking around with like 1% or 2% body fat near death, and then hasn't had a sip of water all shoot. They just they just threw him like a peanut every once in a while, and he like nibbled on it, metabolized it
Yeah.
slowly.
Here you go. Here's some.
Yeah.
Kevin's bringing up some Jack Efron photos here.
Oh, wow. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look normal
That
at
don't
all.
look right.
That doesn't look normal
That one
at
that
all.
you're showing there doesn't
That's
look
not-
right. That's
that's
not
not from
real.
him.
That's and then go to the there
That's
you go.
him.
There you go. Good for him though, huh?
Good.
I can't see
From
it.
Vanessa
Bring it.
Hudgens to The Rock.
The thing is, if I had that level of discipline, I would.
Oh, okay. That looks way better than the one that.
That's him right there. That's him.
telling
Than
you,
that, the
Mark
one, click on the one you
Grayson,
showed me before.
Invincible
That's
movie.
definitely not a real man.
Zac Efron muscle
Okay, that's a
morphed is
little
what it was
bit. That's a
listed as.
little bit. I mean, that's still unnecessary, but
It's
Sure.
completely unnecessary, but God bless him for it. Because let's be honest, if someone came to us today and was like, "You can work out moderately hard for the next 3 days, and you can look like that," we would all work out moderately hard for the next 3 days. 100%,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
Yeah,
Kevin,
work for it. Work at it.
Kevin, yesterday my brother texted you something. What was it?
Get your mic ready then. If you're gonna read it. Is it gonna take long enough that I should intro the show? If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Game Over Reggae show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get each and every episode early, along with a bunch of exclusive perks and goodies, including December's bonus episode, the Kinda Honey podcast, where it's all of our girlfriends and Kevin's fiance, and not Nick's wife, doing a podcast with each other and drinking a lot. If you have no money to toss our way, it's no big deal. You can head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we post the entire show topic by topic, day by day, until it goes up as one big MP3 and video for your listening pleasure. Kevin, what do you got for me?
So I'm trying to hang out with him.
You're trying to hang out with Cool Greg.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I say, well, I'm trying to eat at home. Can you join me? Or you can join me. He says, what's up with that? Have you forgotten all the fat the world had to offer?
I just love that.
Have you forgotten all the fat the world has to offer?
No, I
I don't think Kevin's forgotten.
Have we talked about what's happening with Kevin now? Is he?
It's been a Colin Greg live topic discussion, but we haven't talked about it on his shows yet. That Kevin is back on the calorie counting diet.
Okay, so Kevin, you are actively trying to cut down a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah, every like 6 months, Paula starts like breaks down. It's like you're gonna die. This like
Well,
I'm
the
not gonna have
milkshakes
a whole life
are
with you.
worrisome.
How long will this last?
We'll see. Last time it lasted for a month and a half.
Yeah, you did
Lost
for a good-
20 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow, and you gained it all back, or did you not?
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
Oh, really?
came
You did?
back hard.
Doubled it.
Yeah.
Doubled it. You lost 20 pounds, you gained 40.
You did really good the first day until the end of the day.
Yeah, the first day when Paula did it, you're telling me you went to Costco, you bought all this healthy stuff, you've been eating really well, and then you went and had 4 gigantic slices of pizza wasted with me.
You guys don't understand. It doesn't start till Monday. The
this is just a
weekend is like
primer.
the trial. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
a primer.
the
You gotta get
trial.
your
We
head
were
wrapped
getting
around
it
it.
ready. Man, did I regret that though. The pizza.
Sure.
I saw Greg's Instagram post about that, and I thought you guys were joking. I thought it was one of the things we do here. Like, you know how sometimes we use hyperbole.
I said very clearly this is
to
not
get
a
across
jour.
Humor. Yeah, but I thought that was part
They
of the
thought
joke.
that was the
right?
joke. I got you.
And then now that you're saying it wasn't, we gotta talk about Kevin. We got a little talk about Kevin.
It was honestly a moment where like Colin and I go back and forth with our arguments about Team Fat, but it was when I was watching him take these pieces, I'm like, he's the fucking
president now.
he is. Look at him. He's the captain now. Like there was just no shame, and then when he realized he had fucked up and ordered too much, he committed to just making sure he ate it.
Could have thrown the pizza out, right? Because I'm assuming these slices of pizza could not have been more than what, $3-4 a piece.
We were too drunk to know. Kevin's too
Where were
afraid to
you
look
at?
at his bill. We're over by Bourbon and Branch, pizza place around the corner from that.
I wouldn't know it. But it couldn't have been more than $10 worth
Sure.
of pizza. Could have thrown it out.
Sure,
Kevin,
but no.
Not one to waste money.
And it's not only that, it was like I took the photo and I was like, can I tweet this? And he's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, well, what about Paula, the love of your life, who's begging you to do this diet and not do this, not to do this exact thing? He's like, she'll be fine. And I did it, and the phone was dead. And he got home and charged the phone. And sure enough, like you time sync when I posted, like 30 seconds later, she texted him. She's like, please don't eat all that pizza. But he never got the message, so he just crushed all this pizza.
Oh, I think he got the message.
I'm sure he did. The thing about it, Kevin, I think you should commit to, your wedding is in when? September is when we're shooting for?
Yep, end of September.
You think you can keep the diet up till then?
Yeah, I mean, sure. It's gonna suck.
Oh, no, you won't. And it's okay.
I'm good at committing, unlike certain people.
I don't know who
Which
that's
one
a
would be-
knock
who's
against.
like
I
that?
can't-
You're too far away to know.
He kind of like looked at the entire table.
Our direction, but it wasn't sure.
You're too far away. I don't know who you're staring at. I think you're staring at Nick.
I was
Is it
just
me?
I was just throwing that out there. I actually looked at the back of this camera. If I'm
Gotcha.
being honest.
Wow.
It was one of those. That's like one of those moments where we all look internally about the things we haven't committed to. We're like, "Fuck, he's right. We're all terrible."
right.
Everyone thinks it's about them. Tim,
Yes.
what's your topic?
My topic is moving, which is something I'm surprised we haven't talked about on this show before, but I guess it's because we haven't.
I was gonna say, has anybody moved since we started doing the show?
I mean, I moved once from my mom's house into my friend Curran's house.
sure, Colonel.
Today is going to be the first night. Gia's coming home today. She's done with the school. Congratulations. Say nice things to her on Twitter. She's a grad student. Graduate.
She has
She
a
has
master.
an MPH, I guess is what it is. Yeah. She's
has
a
her master's
master
now?
of
Yes.
public health.
She's a master. You have to call her master now.
MPH. Master Gia.
Well, you know how like
I've been doing it for a while.
Oh, you have to.
Master.
Yeah.
I never understood that because my brother has his master's, and I was like, why don't people call you like you call people with PhD doctor? Why can't I call you master?
Well, you can.
That's cool.
I like Master Matt's pretty cool. Master
Matt.
Scarpino.
Ooh, Master Scarpino's dope.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Colin almost got his master's in history, right, Colin?
Yep, here I am.
Yeah. You decided to go the polar opposite with that.
Yeah, just came here instead.
How often do you think about that alternate timeline where you're
3
teaching
times a day.
At least.
as you're smashing coffee mugs? That's when you're like,
You would have either been everyone's favorite professor,
I would've been a great professor.
or least favorite professor.
I would've been a great professor.
A very polarizing professor. You
would have been an entertaining professor for sure, because you would call people on their shit in class and stuff like that.
I really do believe I would have been an awesome professor.
You would be one of those professors that I go on ratemyprofessor.com and be like, I'm not taking that guy. This sounds like he's going to be,
This guy's a ball buster.
yeah, my balls will be busted. You would hate me.
It would have been interesting to see how long he would have been able to stick it out as like the whole safe space movement's come up.
Oh, Lord.
Because if he's out there teaching history,
He would go.
he would make a comment about the safe spaces and trigger warnings, and
don't
then that would
see-
get him in trouble. And the dean's there, and he's like, "You're on double secret probation." You're like, "I'm a professor."
You're like, this is an Animal House. I don't see Colin memorizing all the new gender pronouns to have to use with all the students now. I just don't see him doing that. I see that's when he bows out, and
That's
just-
when he goes to the Montana ranch.
yeah,
to write his memoirs.
That's the third phase of his life when he decides to hole up in that
Phase
compound
3.
and
Yeah, phase 3.
Phase 3.
put the gun to
Phase
his
4 is a showdown with the federal government at the compound.
But back on target. Phase 3 is when you would move to Montana, back to moving.
right.
Yes. Hey, moving. There you go.
Hey.
So Gia is currently right now in an airplane on the way here forever.
Sure.
Theoretically.
And this, of course, is a time capsule holiday episode, so she's landed a long time ago. Don't
Yes.
bother worrying about it.
Exactly. So we are moving in. Tonight's going to be our first night living together
Yeah.
in a house officially.
It's exciting. It's just
Yeah.
you two in the house,
Just
right?
the two of us.
Wow. So you
We make
guys,
it every try.
you guys can officially do what is every couple's right in their first place, which is have extended naked time.
Okay.
You don't have to put
been
on
doing that
clothes
for a
anymore.
while.
You can just walk around. Well, I'm talking
really
about,
cold,
but you can't do it with.
Really cold out
gotta
there.
put up
on
the
In your new
sunset.
place, is it called? Oh, you're like in a garage, right?
Yeah.
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 Also, remember, Gia's called it out before. You're like a never nude. You don't like being naked.
I don't like being nude.
No. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of naked.
Really?
That's my
time.
thing. Yeah, no. I'm all-
Gia will be drinking wine naked all over that place, I'm sure.
Oh, I'll come over then.
I feel like I always got too much butt sweat to be naked. If
You
I'm being
can't
real.
see the butt sweat. And by the
I
way,
know,
when you're
but it's
naked,
like-
there's no butt sweat.
No, but I don't
You're
think
airing
people
it
can
all
see
out.
I don't want to be sitting on things to get my butt sweat on the thing.
Well, you can take a
That's what my
shower
underwear's
and then
for.
walk around naked.
Part of the
But
thing,
even, I swear, I get out of the shower, my butt's already like
It's already juiced up.
but the thing about
already juiced up. Yeah.
the butt sweat, though, would be from the clothes being on you and making you hot, no? Even getting out of the shower, you have a towel wrapped around there. You're locking in all that ass heat.
I don't know. I feel like
Here's what you do. You get out of the shower, right? You do the thing where you kind of lean over a little bit as you put the towel on, and then boom, lock it in. So it gets that nice little like the terry cloth in between the cheeks. You know how like when you get like you get shoes, right?
Yeah.
And one shoe comes and they put the little piece of like tissue over it, and then the other shoe comes on top, so the shoes are never touching each other.
Yeah.
You got to create that buffer zone with the towel,
With the cheeks?
Suck it in to the butt, like right next to the hole.
Yeah.
And then you can walk around, and then when you're ready to take the towel off, you'll be dry.
I mean,
We're talking about how to
follow
fix
you,
the butt
That makes
sweat.
sense, but I feel like I want to keep the towel. I like having the layer. It's like even when I'm in bed, I like even if it's super hot, I like having a sheet.
On top of you?
Yeah.
Where do you wear the towel when you're walking around?
Where do you wear the towel when you're walking around? Kevin's
mean?
yelling at. He's leading you somewhere.
Oh, I wear a little higher. I got the belly hair.
Are you talking into your microphone, Kev?
Oh, I got. I'm trying to keep.
He
warm.
covers his nips when he's walking around with the
No,
towel.
you don't. The towel's that high?
Yeah.
I mean,
You're wearing it like a lady?
It's not
So-
like
So basically, your balls are hanging out of the towel at the bottom.
yeah, the balls need to have air, but it's more like the butt area that I need to make sure is like buttoned up.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a weird motherfucker.
No, you're not weird. You're
but I'm also, I'm
fascinating.
not down.
Fascinating.
I don't really like walking around in a towel either.
I like walking around a towel because
Nudity is humor to me.
really.
It always will be.
What about sexual? What about the
Well,
sexy
if
side?
of my nudity is humor to me.
Got you. Thank you very much. Okay. What we need to do is like a month into Gia and him living together full time, have Gia
cameras
on and
up.
just ask him a million questions, put cameras up.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerd styles.
Yeah,
Then we
Bush.
sell Tim nudes at the bottom of pie plates.
Oh, easily. Oh, we could definitely sell that.
Yeah.
By the way, Mark, was it? Did anyone catch in that movie? It wasn't pie. It was just
Whipped cream. Just whipped cream.
Yeah.
But I mean, people knew what they were buying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except they never really referenced it because like the one time guys, he asked Ogre like, "How's the pie?" He's like, "It's fine." But he's like, "Here's eating whipped cream."
Yeah.
Well, then it was a naked
Well,
lady.
Ogre was
at the
kind
end.
of fucking stupid anyway.
Yeah. Eventually became a nerd in the canon of Revenge of the
second one,
Nerds.
right?
No, like the direct, the Fox one. Yeah, the Fox one that was like 3D. You had to go to 7-Eleven to get glasses for to wash. Oh man, that was the thing, kids.
Good series.
Moving though.
Yes, moving though.
Are you excited? You're about to move. So you and Gia have lived in quotes together.
Yeah.
But it's like she comes to visit. She's with you for a few weeks and then
Well,
bounces,
but
right?
I mean, so when she was first here for like the first year, when we were both in San Francisco, like I essentially lived with her.
Yeah.
I stayed there every night. I just didn't have all my shit moved over.
Sure.
But I did have my computer and I did have my TV there. So I essentially had everything I ever could need.
Sure.
But then once she left, then yeah, it has just been like week at a time or whatever. But now it's going to be forever, and it's going to be interesting. We're definitely very different people in our quirks. But I just don't like the process of moving. It's
Oh, who
one
does?
of
No,
the
it's worse.
worst things in the world. Kevin does, I'm sure. It's like moving every single ounce of it, every single moment that I'm doing it. I'm like,
worst.
Why does Kevin like this?
Kevin likes all sorts of dumb stuff.
I don't like it. I'm just.
Do you not?
I'm just
I
happy
don't
to be
like,
helpful.
Then why are you like rock hard the entire time you're helping
Jesus.
me?
Oh, I'm rock hard all the time.
Yeah, that's true. No, I just like it's crazy because there's so much
didn't you just point
lifting.
at Colin?
There's so much putting. Who put it at Colin?
Kevin just pointed straight. He's like, "Yeah." Put it at Colin. Colin's like, "Why are you pointing at me?"
It's okay. It's okay, Colin.
Anyway, it's been really frustrating because it's like not only do you have to move all this shit, then
Yeah.
you need to unmove it, like put it where it's supposed to go. There's just so much dust everywhere, and I hate
Yeah.
it. It really bothers me. And then you have to deal with Comcast, and that's like the straw that breaks the camel's
I loved
back.
it if like 4 weeks ago, maybe 2, you were in here and you're like, you hung up the phone and you're like, I can't believe it, Greg. I'm like, what? He's like, Comcast is making this so simple. They're saying I can take all my stuff over there and just plug it in. And he's like, it sounds good, too good to be true. I'm like, it probably is.
Way too good to be
And then
And I
jumps
was
in
like-
today. You're like, I'm going to be late to work. I'm holding a ladder for a Comcast man.
Dude, this motherfucker goes up and is just like, hey, can you hold the ladder for me? And I'm like, I guess.
You're
And
like,
I started holding it. And as he's walking up, I'm like, am I legally responsible for this? Because it was like raining lightly today. So the ladder starts sliding on the metal that he didn't put it on correctly. And I'm like, well, all he asked me to do was hold it. He didn't ask me to do anything to protect him.
It's just Tim holding it, and then the background, the guy just falls.
Well, so I'm fucking holding. He goes on the roof, and then I'm just standing there, and I had a call I had to take, and I was like, all right, I have 20 minutes till my call. I should be fine. This dude, no sign of him for 20 minutes, and I'm like, what's he doing up there? Like, there's no, like, I didn't hear him, didn't see him. I don't even fucking
Smoking
know.
hashish.
I was going to say, you do like the drone shot of him just like staring at clouds, smoking weed.
I was just like, shit.
talking
And
about
then
they look like.
eventually, like 20 minutes later, I was like panicking because I had to do the call, and he came down like right at that moment. I was just like, what the hell could he have been doing up there for 20 fucking minutes? He made it work though. I'll give him the credit for that.
Sure, okay.
He made it.
So you're
fucking work.
Comcast, you're
I don't
gonna-
understand the Comcast people though. Like they walk into these
Nobody does.
houses and then they see the cable connection and all of a sudden they're like, must be on the roof. And I'm like, okay. That's cool that you know that.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never, ever thought the guy has to go on the. He was
Yeah.
like, do you have any satellites? I'm like, I don't know, sir. I just moved here. I have no fucking idea what the history of this house is. But yeah, he did the thing and he made it work. But the call told me it's going to work.
Totally fine.
You have your equipment. You're totally good. And I'm like, oh my God. So I get off the call. You leave. And right after I tell you, oh, it was so simple, I get a charge on my email and I look at it and they charge me for a modem. And I'm like, literally the opposite of what I said. I said, I don't need a modem.
Yeah.
I had to call them back. Like, oh man, you can't cancel it. You need to get it and then return it. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that shit. It was a whole fucking thing. And whatever. You guys know. You know Comcast. I don't need to bitch about this. The worst. But they got it working finally.
And the fun thing about it is it might not be over.
No, I know.
It's
Trust me.
probably not over.
I did a speed test today. And I'm getting like 270 up. Or
Yeah.
270 down. Not up. I'm
270
getting
up
like
would be insane.
15 up. And I'm like, holy shit. This is unheard of. How long will it last though? I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. But then now the problem is like getting all the house together. Now here's my worry. Gia's coming home. She's
Gia!
gonna be there. We're gonna go watch a movie tonight.
Yeah.
Not with her. She's gonna be at the house.
Oh,
doing
she's gonna be
God
all
knows
alone.
fucking what.
She's gonna be
She's gonna take all of our things.
We already covered it. Nudity and drinking wine.
I'm worried,
Yeah.
man.
Why are you worried? Here's the deal. You live with a woman now, okay? Which means that by nature you have to get used to this word called compromise. It's her space too, and she gets to do a certain amount. Now, how much compromise you have to get used to depends on how close you are to marriage. Once you get marriage, the word compromise just means she gets to do whatever she wants 100% of the time, and you don't.
Yeah.
And that's compromise.
What are you worried about her doing? Decorating?
know.
Moving things around?
I don't know.
Well, because
I
isn't
just-
your living room? She was trying to describe it to me. The living room is like the TV that you bought that's obnoxiously large.
It's 65 inches. It's not
These are her words. Don't get me
It's
wrong.
not a-
I'm saying you can't have a TV too big, is what I said.
Thank
But
you.
then you have your desk next to it and your widescreen monitor on that, right? So like, I feel like right there, I don't think she can do you dirtier than you've done her.
Well, I got a wall. I mean, I get one wall. She has the rest of the house.
Okay. Okay.
My wall's fucking awesome. Kevin, is my wall awesome?
It sounds like it's all monitors like this
Yeah,
wall.
it's dope as fuck.
It's pretty much this
If we
wall.
ever need to get rid of this, can we just put it in your house?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
watch
yeah.
TV on it?
No, it's just fantastic. I got a
want
kitchen countertop as my
Fuck
desk. It's a 75-inch kitchen countertop, fucking beautiful ass wood on some file cabinets.
Wait, why do you have a kitchen countertop?
That's my desk.
Okay.
It's cool.
Oh,
It's
so
real
you're
cool.
using your kitchen's countertop as your
It's
desk.
not a kitchen countertop. I
He's
bought
saying
one.
it is a kitchen countertop on filing cabinets that he put against the wall that he has his computer on.
Where'd you get that?
IKEA.
Not that
Oh.
complicated.
But it's the
Nice,
fancy
nice,
end
nice.
of IKEA.
Okay,
When you have to
okay.
walk all the way through the thing.
The Venutsons.
Shit's nice.
Why
Shit's
did you
real
go that
nice.
way? Why did you get a kitchen part, not a desk?
True story. Googled dope ass desk.
Okay.
And I was like, that guy got a dope ass desk. And I'm like, I'm going to just buy everything he bought.
Greg's next question is, why is the computer in the kitchen?
Now, no, I think I've caught up. You're sitting on the oven when you use your computer.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
It's
Oh yeah,
hot.
please,
Gotta warm
yeah.
up the
These
buns,
nails, yeah.
Remember, they get nasty down there. Too much bun juice.
How, scale of 1 to 10, how dry are these hands?
I saw them and I was gonna make a comment, but I just moved on.
here's
I'm
the
bad
deal.
at moisturizing too.
Well, what we need to do is we need to get a office bottle of Lubriderm.
Sure.
We got to get that.
Sure.
I'll take point on that. On getting that.
Okay.
I'm gonna make some orders at Amazon so I could go ahead and.
If you get the lube, if you get the
I mean, I
derm-
go through Lubriderm my body's a slip and slide basically.
You do look moist right now.
Thank you, I'm
look
very
real
moist.
moist.
I need a plastic cutting board as well. I'm slowly building out the kitchen in there to spec.
Can't
Can't do
buy a
it.
bunch of stuff.
That's what he's
Buy
doing.
knives and shit. I'm just saying for you, like make a list of stuff you want for the kitchen. Put them in there.
Okay. Can I get a chef's hat?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. You can get your set. The thing about moving for me is it's always stressful, whether or not you're the one doing the moving. I'm stressed out for you. The last time I had to deal with a move, I moved into my place I think we've been there for 6 years. So it's been 6 years, but that's not the last time. The most recent time was when one of my neighbors moved. Now she was the sort of apartment complex mom. Like she was the one that took care of everyone and like I knew everyone's name. So like I still don't know any of my neighbors' names. None of them. Like I've lived with these people for 6 years and I'm like, hey, you, because I don't want to know them. It's like those Vietnam movies where it's like at some point you're gonna leave. I don't want to have to know you. But this one, I took a liking to. She had 3 beautiful kids, and they were living in a 1-bedroom apartment. So as the kids were starting to grow up, she's like, we got to do something. And of course, the natural inclination would be to move the fuck out of San Francisco because there's no way you can raise 3 kids in this city and have any place to live. So they moved
And
to
money.
Portland, right? And money. So they did what most people, Northern California, are doing now. They either moved to Austin or Portland, and they chose Portland because they have some family there. But she was like, she was determined to not have the move stress anyone out or stress herself out. Okay. So she hires this moving company that basically is the equivalent to some college kids who just need some money and are just gonna throw shit in a big truck and drive it up. But she makes one fatal mistake. She goes, I'm not gonna be stressed by this. The kids go with the husband. They drive up early. She decides to fly up, but for some reason she was like, I'm just gonna fly up tomorrow, and the movers are coming tomorrow, and they're gonna come and they're gonna pack everything up and they're gonna put it in the truck, and it's just gonna miraculously appear in my house in Portland. And I'm like, but you're not staying to supervise them. And she goes, no, they got it. I trust that they'll have everything. Flash forward, the text messages start. Hey, I'm in Portland. Can anyone go to my apartment and get all of my stuff from the kitchen? And like somehow these guys are coming back. Can you just make sure? Like they forgot everything. The guys like basically walked in and they saw, they like took and put on the truck, didn't go through any of the drawers, didn't like look, didn't do a dummy check at all. And of course I saw these guys. I mean, they were perfectly nice dudes, but they were like 22-year-old guys smoking weed around the corner, like didn't give a fuck about anything. It started stressing me out where I'm like, God, do I just need to go up there and fucking handle this? It's not even my shit. And I'm like, oh my God, it was the worst. That was the worst.
I remember you telling me that. That stresses me out.
It stresses me out.
That's no bueno, man.
I don't like people
close
like
the
that.
blinds.
So I was talking about this recently with Aaron in the sense that when I was younger I moved a lot because my parents got divorced and then my mom worked for an airline, so I lived in a lot of different places, and I have a complete aversion to moving now because from when I was born to I don't know 4th grade I lived in Long Island, and then I lived from 4th to 6th grade in Maine, and then I lived 7th and 8th grade in New Hampshire, and then I moved back to Long Island for high school, and then I moved to Boston, and then I moved here. So I've been like kind of circulating around
for a while, yeah.
And I'm not moving anymore. My apartment that I have now, not going anywhere.
You're gonna die there.
And like I'm just done. I'm just like it is an exact response to my childhood and like this very transient kind of thing. Also, my parents were divorced, so like I said, so I was back and forth. Like even when I was in Maine or New Hampshire, I lived on Long Island over the summer, all of those years. So I was just I never had a place to just like settle down, Yeah. And then I remember when I first moved out here, I had 5 roommates, and we were all poor. And then when I moved in my house, I lived with Scott Bromley for a while, and our girlfriends. Then they moved out. Then Greg and Mike moved in. Then our girlfriends moved in. Then they moved out. Then Mike moved out. The way it is right now is exactly the way it's staying. I'll live there by myself.
Yeah,
like
no,
no
definitely.
one else is moving in. We're never having another roommate. And if Greg leaves, then I'm probably just gonna be like, fuck it.
Now here's my question. I think that's absolutely the right choice. Here's my question to you: do you take Greg's room, or do you just do like what my Uncle Paul did when my grandma died, and he just stayed in his room? And her room was like perfect. It was like no one had ever touched it.
No, I'm fine in my room. I don't need the master bedroom. So that's it's just a complete reaction to my entire upbringing, where I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. Also, it's a reaction to the outrageous real estate market in San Francisco. Although I've been reading the last few months and seeing it anecdotally, especially in the marina in Cow Hollow, places are coming up for rent and businesses are going out of business. I was talking
a lot of businesses are going out of business.
I was talking to a woman that owns a boutique on Union Street and near like the shitty Extreme Pizza there, like down one of the stairs near Chubby's, wherever that place is that you like.
Yeah, love it.
And she was saying like they're gone at the end of the year. Like they're like rents are getting jacked up. That food place, Real Foods, whatever, is closed
Gone.
now.
Yeah, that's a huge lot too.
Yeah, and she was like and when you walk around, like that jewelry store on the corner of
They, like,
of
quadrupled
Laguna
the rent.
and Union has been out. Like no one's been there for a year.
Yeah.
And so I was reading. I googled San Francisco housing bubble and San Francisco rent bubble, whatever, and they're like, it's starting to collapse. Like it definitely is starting to collapse. It's just the baseline is so much higher that it's not going to look that good.
Yeah, it's not going to matter.
But
The thing about it, like even with Dan Reichert going to New York, right? I remember months ago him Facebooking about like, hey, if anybody wants this apartment, blah, blah. And then he's still to this day like, hey, I'm going to have to pay 2 rents, one in San Francisco and one in New York. And that fucking sucks. If anybody needs, and usually that's the kind of shit that's like gone in a heartbeat. How was it hard for you? You got a place. So was it hard to find a place and like do all that? And because it used to be lines out the door and everybody has their thing and they have the deposit ready to go.
I mean, it was one of those. It was a hurry up and wait type of situation where like originally like we were planning on doing something with me, Kevin, Paula, and Gio, so we were looking for like bigger places,
Right.
to have. And then this kind of just came up, and I was just like, well, holy shit, this is a really good deal.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna at least look into it. And then I went in, and it was literally like a 10-second decision of do I want this place or not. I was telling a lady, she's like, oh yeah, you're the first one here. There's like 10 other people are coming today. The next one's coming in 10 minutes. I'm like, oh fuck. Like if I
Classic
want
sales
this,
technique.
well, while I was there,
I know that
more
really
people fucking came.
Yeah.
People came early, and I'm like, oh shit. So I was like, whatever, I want this shit. And then they gave it to me because I'm a baller ass baller.
Of course.
And,
They saw that blue car outside with that big subwoofer. They're like, this guy knows.
They're like,
This
oh,
guy
man, they
knows.
heard me from a
This
mile
guy's got
away.
a big dick.
Yeah.
He just did one of these where he's like,
It worked.
I think you'll find Mr. Washington says, I go to the front of the, please, sir. Okay, you can just have the apartment. Go away.
yeah,
Please
there it
leave.
is.
Yeah, so now it's one of those things where it's like, the second after those 10 seconds when it all worked out and I got the place, then I go back and look at the place. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't
Yeah,
like this. I don't
yeah,
like this.
yeah.
But I'm like, it's fine.
It'll
like
be,
San
it's
Francisco.
your first home. It'll be
I'm
fine.
like, it's going to be good enough. But
30 years from now, you and Gio look back and laugh.
And I think the market, I mean, it's all predictive, and who knows in San Francisco, like you're just seeing and hearing a lot of things, and if you've signed a 1-year lease, so by this time next year, I bet you the housing market's way more open. Because what were they saying about it? It was super interesting. I never thought about this. They were saying that job growth is stagnant and people are starting to leave. And then the housing that got into the pipeline over the last few years
they
is
made
going
a
to
shit
start
ton of new houses.
is going to start being done. And so they were saying like there's a net loss in jobs of a significant like 15% and a net gain of like 50,000 units in the next 2 years. And so they're like the housing market in a natural market should adjust like pretty significantly. And people that were afraid that make decent livings that are still in rent controlled buildings can without fear move into some of these high rises and these condos now in the next couple of years because
I still wouldn't
it
do
should.
it, though.
So no, I wouldn't either. I'm not leaving. Like I said,
I would never leave rent control.
I don't fuck
I would
around.
leave. I would gladly
fuck
move
around.
to a better place, like a top floor place, but it has to be rent controlled still. Because I've had Jimmy, like Ty Root told me horror stories. That place that he used to live in, it was like a micro studio apartment where you walked in and like bumped into the fridge, and then one more step and you were at the bed, and it was the smallest thing, but he was paying like $3,500 a month for it, and when his lease was up, they were like, "Yo, it's gonna be $4,500 now," and he was like, "Fuck you guys."
That's what happened with us.
That's when he moved to Richmond.
When I was staying in the giant high rise
Ring
that I
Con
loved
Tower.
down there, and it was I
gorgeous.
moved in. It was awesome. I used to when I'd call friends and be like, "You got to come visit because I'm never gonna live in a cooler place than this. I'm never gonna live in another high rise apartment with digital doors and you can see Alcatraz from the bedroom and all the appliances are brand new." And it was that they were built to be luxury apartments for all the tech people, and then the economy went into the recession, and so they needed to fill them. So I was able to get in there for 2 years, and then after 2 years, open up the thing, and it's like it'll be going up $2,000 a person. It's like, okay,
A person?
See? Yeah, it was going $4,000 total up for the
Oh
thing.
fuck that!
Yeah,
that's so criminal.
It is. It's just on principle. Like, I wouldn't do that even if I could afford it. I'd be like, no, there's just no way. Because your apartment was great, and I remember you telling the story about how you went to the rent office and declined, and then you heard them say something. That was you, right? Where I thought it was you saying like I said no, and then you're like, that's another one that won't sign up. Like they were saying like people.
Oh
were actually
yeah,
starting
when
to
I
leave.
was leaving, yeah, when I went in and I'm like, yeah, we're not going to renew, and they're like, yo, that's another guy.
But they clearly filled that building up. The
course,
thing
yeah.
is that, and this is an ancillary to Tim's topic, but venture capital is drying up. Like people are going to want their money back eventually. Like it's not just endless amounts of money going into these companies that don't make anything. They don't make a product. They don't make any money. They just burn through they feed their fucking, their 300 employees every day lunch and dinner. They have no product. They're like even big companies like Uber are eating $1.2 billion a quarter.
Yeah, but I think Uber's got their head in the right place.
They have
I'm sure
$15
we'll
billion
talk about
in
that.
capital to figure it out.
They're
That's the
going
whole
to figure
thing.
it out. They've
So-
got a great plan.
Oh, I'm gonna
sure,
when they go public, I'm going in. But
they're the tech company of the future for sure.
But so these smaller companies that are actually like Facebook and Twitter and stuff, because people, I was actually explaining it to my family when I was home. People don't realize what the economy is like here. Like they and I didn't realize it until I moved here. You hear about .com and you hear the .com era and all those kinds of things, but the economy here is very unique and strange compared to Virginia or Boston or New York or whatever, where it's more normal and not so homogenous in terms of like the sector. These are all tech companies, like all of them.
Yeah.
Everyone is employed here by some sort of digital website, video production, whatever, tech startup
Or Starbucks.
and then the service sector that serves those things. And the fact of the matter is, most of these companies make nothing. They make no money. They have no money. They are not going to be viable. I was reading about even these once primed startups that are in good shape. I was reading a piece just last night, actually in bed, about how like Postmates is eating shit. Like all of these companies are like
Thumbtack
fucked.
or whatever all those
Like
things,
they're
yeah.
all fucked. Like they were just saying like they cannot make they were saying it was specifically about that company, I think Sequoia, the massive venture capital firm, saying how they're removing or not investing anymore in any sort of delivery services because they're just literally impossible to make money. Like they were just like, it's not possible. Like the margins are so slim they can't extract any money out of these things. And so you're starting to see these companies, like, they're trying and they're great ideas, but like when I order a pizza in the marina from a place in North Beach at midnight and the pizza costs $20 and I'm paying $27 for it delivered, there's something wrong there. Like, that's not normal. And they were saying that even about Uber. When you get in an Uber, you're only paying 48% of the cost of the ride. You know, like, in other words, it should be double what it costs for them to break even. And so, like, all of these companies are just playing with math in hopes that they're the Amazon model, which we're going to talk about in a little while, are like of just going and going and going until you finally make a profit. And they're just saying it's not going to happen. And so everything's going to adjust in San Francisco accordingly.
Yeah,
it'll
but
always be
how
more
much?
expensive here than everywhere
That's the
else.
thing. That's the problem. Is like we saw the last tech. We saw the last, like, when we started. That was the last really big tech bubble burst, right? In, like, you're talking 98 to 2002. That era when like when I started, we were just coming out of it. And that was when you can get a 3-bedroom apartment in, like, the Lower Haight for like $1,800, right? When it would go now for like $5,000 easily. But even then, I don't think, like, real estate, like buying property, I don't think it went down that much.
No, well,
But you're right, though. You're not seeing, like, it's true. I haven't seen a line around a place in a long time in our neighborhood in the marina.
No, because people are
They
leaving.
used to be like 30. Like, you'd be like, oh, there's another apartment for rent. You'd know because there'd be 30 people with fucking binders out front, like, waiting to get in to this place. And I told you guys that story when I moved into my place. It was a 15-minute open house. She was like, this place is going to go. And these two guys came after 15 minutes. The guy's like, can we duck in? She's like, you're not getting in this place. And they were like, well, can we just look at it? She's like, sure, but I'm just letting you know right now, like, all these people were here on time. One of them is going to get it. And that was it. It was like, we had 5 seconds. Same thing with you. I had 3 minutes to look around, and the the toilet was in the bathtub. They hadn't even finished the bathroom yet. It was hideous. And Danielle was like, there's no way I'm living here. I'm like, we're taking this fucking place. This is perfect. And it ended up working out, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be really interesting to see how it goes, because it can't get any more ridiculous than it is right now.
No, they were saying that there's I don't know what the word is. It's a real estate term where, like, you could keep pushing a market up and up and up because people can afford it, but there comes a point where even though people can afford it, they refuse to pay.
They're just not going to pay.
And it's reached that market where they're like, there's just no way. There's just no way I'm paying $8,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment in Soma. Just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So now like, I could have. I'm not saying me, but like a guy makes $250,000 could absolutely afford that. But not going to do it. Just on principle, just not going to do it. Yeah. And so prices will collapse.
At that point, you can just pay someone to fucking hold a roof above your head no matter where you go. Like, put a little heater on you.
Dude, you hear about these fucking places where the guy in Mountain View, for people that don't know, Mountain View is where Google's located, which is in the valley, is
selling like a tent or something.
It has a tent in his backyard that he's renting out for like $1,500 a month. You know, it's
If that was good Wi-Fi.
It's just not normal, and it's not okay, and it's just a different kind of market. Like, people don't understand. Like, we pay a little under $3,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment. That is a fucking steal.
That's ridiculous.
Like when I tell people that I have a big 3-bedroom apartment in a pretty nice area for $2,800, they're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I remember when our friend Gio Corsi at PlayStation came over for dinner. He's like, "This place is insane." He's like, "How do you like how?" And I'm like, "We've had it since the recession. That's the only reason that we can afford it." So. Much like we stuck a flag in the moon, I'm sticking a flag in that place, and you're gonna fucking take my dead body out of it.
Yeah, Greg, time to move back to Rincon. You're gonna have to pony up the $19,000 a month for that place.
When the recession hits.
Yeah, go back for a couple years.
I'm excited for all your stories, though, of living with Gia now.
It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
me too.
Yeah.
This is like, and this should be a topic for another time. Maybe we've done this one, but it should be what it's like to live with someone else, because we've all lived with someone at this point.
We did that on Love and Sex stuff.
We did on Love Set. We should do one on this, like, but not now. Let's give you 6 months, because you learn a lot about yourself and a lot about the person you're with living together, and those choices you have to make. And I was joking earlier about compromise. Like, it's actually fun. It's a challenge to be like, how do we both get what we want out of this, right?
Yeah.
And that's compromise in the best sense of the word, where it's not a matter of you giving up something. It's what's the third option where both of us are super happy?
Yeah.
And that's what you get to start to learn and develop that skill as you're living with someone in that new space. So I'm excited for you to do
Should
that.
be fun.
Colin, what's your topic?
Well, I brought it before Amazon, and I wanted to talk specifically about Amazon Go.
Yeah. I've been dying to hear your thoughts on this, because I haven't seen you since or we haven't talked since the trailer came out.
No, and so just to stop right here, if you don't know what Amazon Go is, I want you to stop this podcast, pause it. If you're on YouTube or whatever, just wait until you get home. If you're listening to the podcast, go watch the video. Just look for Amazon Go trailer or Amazon Go commercial and just watch it. What it basically is, and really, you really should watch it. What it basically is a store with no employees. And
market.
Like a
market,
grocery
store.
like a grocery store, convenience store, in which no one works on the floor.
Yeah.
And so what you basically do is it's an Amazon app. You scan your app when you walk in, you put your phone away, and then you just take whatever you want and you just leave. You don't talk to anyone. You can just literally just take whatever you want and it knows that you took it and you just bounce. There's one open in Seattle right now only for Amazon employees. It's currently being used. I've been reading a lot about it on like Market Watch and stuff like that, where there's some theories that they want to build like 2,000 of them. Amazon is saying that they're basically just getting data right now. People remember that Amazon is notorious for reinvesting all of its money into new things and trying to get you to buy shit. One of the pieces I was interested in that I was reading in was basically saying like Amazon was only profitable, I think, a year and a half ago for the first time ever. And what they were basically saying was Amazon could have been profitable way long ago, but they are obsessed with just taking their money and throwing it back into things. And so that's where the Kindle came from, but that's also where Amazon Fire came from and the thing you talk to now and all these things. They just
Alexa,
they're just curious of what you care about. Like they eat shit on a lot of things because they're trying to figure out new markets. And this is one of their attempts to figure out a new market. And sometimes it's unintuitive. When they created the Kindle, everyone thought that would put Amazon out of business. Because it was eating into what used to be their core business, which a lot of people remember in the 90s was books.
Yeah.
That was them staying alive and actually being shrewd and smart, similar to what Netflix did, where it looked like they were going to put themselves out of business until actually they made themselves like, an insurmountable powerhouse by getting rid of discs. So I was curious what you guys thought of Amazon Go, the commercial, and what you think this means for our economy moving forward. And I don't mean this in a deep like macro or micro sense. I just mean like I found this I'm obsessed with new technologies and I think it's really, really fascinating. This commercial to me is ominous.
Oh, very much.
And when I saw it, my first instinct was like, this isn't real. I was like, this has to be. I was positive when I'm like, that's a fucking really great spoof. What the fuck is this? And I read about it and I was like, it's absolutely real.
Yeah.
And I found it to be ominous because we're getting to a point where a large swath of Americans or a large swath of industrialized nations' populations are just not going to be employed anymore. And I'm curious what you guys think about the convenience factor and the price factor, but also what it means to the human cost as well.
Yeah, you're seeing this a lot, right? You're seeing this a lot, specifically in the service industry, where as the minimum wage, as they're trying to hike the minimum wage, a lot of companies are thinking, well, obviously what's the biggest expenditure when you're in the service industry, right? It's probably your payroll. It's probably how much you're paying human beings to be there, especially if you're giving a medical fee and you're paying payroll tax on top of that. So the fascinating thing is all the stuff in the news about Uber and how they're trying to they're not making no bones about it. They're not trying to be a secret about it. They're trying to get self-driving cars on the road in probably the next couple of years. I think it's already been legalized. I think it was Wisconsin that said that they finally legalized the self-driving car to be on the road. I could be wrong. I'll have to look that up. But I mean, if you're sitting in a position right now where you're in the service industry and you look around and realize that your job could be done by a robot, you better start looking for another job because that time is coming and it's coming very, very quickly. And I think it's fascinating and I think it's absolutely going to happen because how often do you walk into a store now, a grocery store now, and have to talk to someone? The only person I really interact with ever is the person at the checkout, unless I'm looking for something. But in reality, does that really matter? Does it really matter to you at the end experience? And the only thing that's weird to me about this is that they're trying to invest in storefront when every fucking day I walk home into my apartment, there's 400 Amazon boxes, including Amazon Fresh,
Sure.
which is their
produce. And
like
their
why
grocery store
even
thing.
bother with that? Why even just take it a step further and be like, let's eliminate the grocery store completely and just make sure everything can get delivered directly to you by one person or one robot instead of having to have multiple robots.
Kevin's fact checking you. Nevada was the first state to authorize the operation of autonomous vehicles in 2011. Since then, 7 other states, California, Florida, Louisiana, Michigan, North Dakota, Tennessee, and Utah, and Washington, D.C. have passed legislation related to autonomous vehicles.
Yeah, they're all weird rules too. Like every state has different exact rules. Like some states require a person, I think most states require a person to be in the driver's seat still.
Yeah.
Because it like makes people feel uneasy if they're driving next
Sure,
to
and they
a
see
car
an empty
without-
car. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the crazy part is when it goes so far as when car makers decide that they don't want the added expenditure of the wheel. And then there just won't be any sort of mechanism where a person can
steering
pilot the
wheel?
car at all. Yeah, exactly. Like
There'll have to be something.
I don't know.
Eventually not, I assume. Well, as an aside to this, so I have a soft date with it right now, but my girlfriend's cousin is dating a guy who's deep in the robot. He went to MIT, he's deep into robotics and AI, and we had a fascinating conversation over dinner, and I invited him to do a Game Over Greggy exclusive because I figured none of you guys would really care about it. But we were talking about and I think our audience would care about. We were talking about the Turing test and AI and driverless cars and all that kind of stuff. And he's super fucking smart. He's in this industry with robotics. And we're gonna have him on, I think, in January to talk about this kind of stuff because he had some really fascinating stuff to say. Specifically, when I was like, "How far away are we from driverless cars being like an actual thing that is ubiquitous?" And he's like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, but
Like,
that's the thing.
that's insane.
Like I took a Uber ride home from the airport. I had to rent a car because my car's still on the fritz, and the guy was like, inevitably he asked the same few questions, like, where you from,
How long you been driving?
right? And we struck up a conversation. The guy was, another fascinating human being that chose to drive Uber. Right? He just quit. He was like, I was fed up with my marketing job. I was like the Northern California marketing director for this big company, and I just said, screw it, I'm gonna quit. And Uber was there for me, and it's awesome. He's like, it's great. I can just supplement my income with it and drive around while I figure out what's next in my life. That's a beautiful time period that we're in. That is very quickly going to be coming to an end, though. Like all these people, like think about how many people are now employed by Uber, like who count on that revenue to come in every year. They're going to be shit out of fucking luck. Them, all the taxi cab drivers, anyone that works at any fast food restaurant is going to be shit out of luck in the coming 5 years. It's crazy. Like, I think we were talking yesterday, and you were saying that for the first time, there's just going to be a ton of population that just is going to have to deal with not having a job.
I referenced this. I've referenced it multiple times now. This really fascinating half an hour long interview that Bill Maher did with Barack Obama. And Obama's giving a lot of random interviews now. I don't know if you've noticed. Like he talked to Trevor Noah at the Daily Show, and it was supposed to be like not funny at all. It was just a total interview. Like because he doesn't care now. Like he's a lame duck. And one of the things he said, which is something that some Western countries in Europe are already dealing with, I think Sweden in particular, some of the Scandinavian countries, is like, what do you do with do you have like some sort of social safety net that's so deep and intrinsic that you basically have a minimum salary that everyone gets from the state? And Obama was saying that that's not necessarily, I mean, I'm boiling this down, but it's not necessarily an endorsement, but it's something we have to think about in the near future, closer than we think, where we're like 25% unemployment's like gonna it's first of all, during the Depression it was 30% in the 30s, and a 25% unemployment rate is gonna be reality. Like even though Donald Trump is promising people to bring factories back and all that kind of stuff, we might have American factories. It's just that robots are eventually going to do all the work. And the same thing with McDonald's. The fight for $15 minimum wage. McDonald's was like, fuck you, all of you. Like we're just going to have. We're not doing that. We're just going to have, I mean, the one at Stonestown is one of the examples of what they're trying to do, which is basically just to eliminate everyone in the store that doesn't need to be there.
When I was in Quebec, the outskirts of, we stopped at a random McDonald's, and it was the same thing. You walked in, it was the touchscreen, order that way. And it was like,
it's better for
the better experience because it prints off exactly what you want.
And you can like get the weird ass shit that you didn't even know was an option.
Yeah.
Man. I first saw it at Jack in the Box years ago. I think it was like 5 years ago they started it in Daly City. And it was just like, wow, but it was always a supplemental thing. It was always just like the people are there and this. And like, I don't know if we'll get to a point in the next couple of years where it's just the machines, but I mean, I would hope so. That shit's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's just that like one of the things that I'm trying to think about, and this is and that's what I was curious about to talk to you guys about, is that it's antithetical to my own politics of like kind of market driven ideas and like you get paid what you're worth or whatever. But the fact of the matter is there's going to be a ton of millions of casualties in terms of economic casualties in terms of this, and it's something that we have to kind of deal with. Like, I understand where McDonald's is coming from. I own a business. We own a business, and I would resent the federal government or the state saying like, you have to pay these people a certain amount of money. I'd be like, well, I've never believed in, and I've had a lot of debates with this. I don't believe in a minimum wage. I don't think it's right, and I think it's weird. Like to say like, if you don't like what you're being paid, then don't work there. Yeah. Like, and if you don't have skills that are marketable enough, then that's actually your fault, not the company's. So, like, my whole thing is this kind of drive to help people have a more livable wage, I guess, which is respectable, is just actually going to drive them out of employment completely, because these companies are going to be like, no more, no. Like, especially companies that work on razor thin margins like Amazon or Uber or, even a supermarket. My dad actually moonlighted for many years as a produce guy at a major chain called Wallbounds on Long Island in New Jersey that doesn't exist anymore. And we used to talk all the time. The margins in supermarket shopping, for instance, is like 3%. Like, that's all they're making above what they're selling. Like, so if you buy a bag of chips for $2, their rip on that is like maybe 10 cents, maybe 8 cents. And so if you could remove the human element, suddenly the margins become bigger and these stores become more profitable. Right. And that stuff's going to become
and also
ubiquitous everywhere.
The products become cheaper to make as well.
Exactly.
So their margins are thicker there too.
Yeah, but we've had these self-checkouts for a while, and they're always fucking trash.
I love the one at Safeway at Fort Mason. I use that, and it works fine.
Every time I
like
use one of those,
insane.
which isn't rare anymore, is a rarity now. But every time I use them before, you get there and you put the bin in the thing, put it down. You have to put the thing down. I'm like, I've put the thing down. I'm putting it down multiple times. Like, you need assistance. I'm like, all right. And then I wait for somebody to come over and type some code in and turn a key.
That's the thing. Is like the assistant. There needs to be at least one person making sure that all that.
Well, that was the
shit's
thing at the
happening.
McDonald's in Canada that I was at with the touchscreen, because I haven't been to the one here with the touchscreen, where there was just a manager walking the floor, there for if anybody needed it, talking to people, being jovial, and then back, behind the thing where everybody was cooking and bringing food out and calling out numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's still a human element, but yeah, you're just eliminating.
But I feel
more.
like going back to the original topic, like, isn't that what this Amazon Go is, right? It's all that self checkout, but eliminating the stupidity of it. You literally bring in your own bag.
Yeah, no,
you put the shit in your
totally.
bag, you walk out. Is that something you
But
would
even
do?
that, well, like my thing with it is like looking at it, it seems too small. I'd be more excited if it was a full blown grocery store.
Well, I'm sure it will
Well, they're
be
testing it.
eventually.
I know.
This
I'm
is
just
probably
saying. I'm
for
just
the
talking about what
commercial.
we've seen. Yeah, for the commercial of jumping in there and going like that won't be part of our lives. They're not going to put one around here. That's going to be like in Soma, the one or whatever.
That's the thing too. Is like Amazon. They test a lot of stuff, and they even have like Amazon, their brick and mortar stores and stuff, and it's more like boutique-y, like cute
Yeah.
shit, especially up in Seattle because they that's where they're based. But I think that we've seen so many technologies that like Apple Pay, right? How many times have you guys used Apple Pay?
Never.
You know, and we're San Francisco. Like we are the target audience for that. And it's like, nah, we don't do that. We got these chip reading cards, and that's a freaking disaster. And who the hell knows why they even did that?
It's well that just to save
More
you from any
secure.
comments is that those are super secure. That's why they make you do it.
I mean, but see, that's this. I don't fucking.
the
buy that
Target
shit.
thing is what the Target hack is what it convinced everyone to do it. But I'm just
Because my thing is with those, like with the chip cards, there's been more times where it doesn't even ask me for a PIN code. Just put the code in,
It needs to ask for the PIN code, or else it's not.
or else it's not secure at all. Then it's literally worse than the other one, which I've experienced multiple times. I'm like,
It's just a regular credit card. Yeah.
I'm like, why'd you just let me buy this without any form of proof? Like, so you could just found this card and bought the shit, whatever. There's all these technologies that I'm like, I really wonder what's actually going to catch on and be something that everybody uses. Uber was a thing when it first came out. I was like, this sounds sketchy as hell. I'm gonna fucking put a phone app. Someone's gonna come pick me up and drive me somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It was like hell no.
I was
I'm
hella
not
lit
doing that
adopter of
shit.
that.
But then eventually, it's like you get stories from everybody, and it becomes ubiquitous out of nowhere, right? But then there's other things like Apple Pay that are not, and I'm like, why not? Everyone has their phone. Why aren't more people using that? And again, the more people being us, like, or anyone I know. And I wonder with the driverless cars and stuff, because I recently, a couple days ago, I was driving, and there was an Uber next to me with the self-driving thing on top. And there was a dude driving it, but
They're
it's like,
testing. Yeah, I saw it too happen when I drove by. Yeah.
that's there in SF. So it's like, there's all this shit going on, and I'm really interested in what it actually ends up being. But I think that there's so much political shit that it's like, there's certain things that because of people high up, they're not going to allow things to happen because they need to be able to have people working. They need to be able to have this whole economy going. And this goes back to the whole election thing and all the empathy for middle America and all that. It's like, this is a perfect example of like the other end of that, of just like, then nobody has jobs. And then it's like, well, then what do we fucking do?
Yeah, it's complicated. Amazon is an interesting example to me because Uber runs on the same kind of thing too, is that they eat shit over and over again financially in order to put everyone out of business so that they are the only game in town. Or you think, as I was reading another piece about how like people go on Amazon assuming things are cheaper than they are everywhere, but they're actually not. It's just that like we're so engineered, especially with toiletries and all these kinds of things, like they're actually not cheaper. You go to Target or something and get them for cheaper, but you're so used to the convenience and just Amazon and Amazon Prime, like it's working. What they're doing is working, where like they're the one game in town. And it's ironic in the sense that, and this is why I found the Amazon Go commercial somewhat unsettling, even though it was also exciting and really awesome to see this technology of just walking in and grabbing whatever you want and leave. It also I also realized that there's going to be just a ton of casualties. And the ironic thing above that is that the people that are fighting on behalf of the people to get a better living wage or whatever are actually expediting the demise of those very people's ability to work at all. And what I mean by that is, for some reason in the last 10 years, and I don't mean any disrespect to, blue collar work or for part-time work, whatever. That's not what I mean at all. And I think people understand that. But McDonald's 20 years ago, or when I was a kid, when I turned 14 or whatever, that was a place you went when you were in school or you were in college and you worked part-time. This is not a place to make a career. This is not a place to raise a family. No one's raising a family working 30 hours a week at McDonald's. And somehow, some way, because these people were slowly left behind in their job, their ability to work a job in this fast-moving technological economy have left them so far behind that they have no choice but to go to these places and ask for a better wage. But then when you ask for a better wage, then they're like, no, we're not paying you a better wage. McDonald's can't afford to pay you $15 or they're going to go out of fucking business. So they invest in these computers and then they hasten the demise of their own
Right.
jobs. It's just a very strange thing that we talk about these people as if like I work at McDonald's and I want $15 an hour, and it's like, but that's not what McDonald's is. You choose to work at McDonald's to make that much money, and that might be the only place you can work. And I sympathize with that, but at the same time, it's not the corporation's business to give you a job or to pay you a certain amount of money, and it's not society's job to guarantee you a job or guarantee you money. And this is where this is, and I only say that because this is a confluence of really fucked up and interesting things that we are going to have to grapple with in the next few years. We are going to have a permanently unemployed population. Like, it's going to happen. And like the I don't know what the answer is, and that's why I was saying like what they're doing in Sweden, experimenting with a social safety net in which everyone is paid.
I think that's a terrible idea.
I think it's a terrible idea too,
Terrible
but at least
idea.
I think it's an awful idea.
It's exactly
but
like
at least
welfare, where it's just going to enable people to not you have to do for themselves, and it's going to just take money out of every taxpayer's pocket.
Exactly, but and I agree with you. I mean, I'm very conservative in that sense. I don't believe in these social safety nets for the most part, unless the ones you pay into, and even those I would get rid of eventually.
Well, they're going to, but those will take care of themselves. Don't worry about that.
Medicare and Social Security are finished. But politics aside, my own ideology aside, the fact of the matter remains: in 10 years, we're going to have a 15% unemployment rate permanently.
That's ridiculous.
And it's like, and we can ignore the reality of that, but then like, what do you do? Like that's the
Potentially,
whole.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's the same argument that comes back to like climate change, right? Where people are like, "What the hell do we do?" But at some point, someone's going to figure out a way to put those people to work and make money off of them, right? And that's all you can really ask for. There's going to be some entrepreneurial group out there that says, "Holy shit, we've got a lot of people that are unemployed who are decent workers. How do we put them to work? What do they do that robots can't? Or how do they manufacture something?" And at that point, they're going to have to do it for a lower wage, right? And that's just the way it's going to have to go. And the whole cycle starts over again.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think the market corrects itself to some extent. It'll open up new opportunities because there'll be a new need for that kind of thing. And I also don't think it'll be overnight that every McDonald's is like this, just like Uber. I mean, they're going to get self-driving cars out, but I won't. On day one, when they announce that they have a fleet of self-driving cars out in all these different cities, you won't be able to get one because it's going to be such a novelty that everybody's going to be trying to book that thing. And that's going to go on for months before it wears off. And it'll just be, well, I'll just keep taking Uber X. Why do I care about this? I want to try it one day, whatever. And then as the market continues to grow, if it accepts it, they get more cars on the road, more cars in the different areas, and go that way.
All I'd say is that I don't know. I can't see the future, the whole Baker's Law idea of the exponential increase in technology and all that kind of stuff. Just remember that if I told you that you'd have that in your pocket 10 years ago, you wouldn't even know what the fuck that was. And I'm pointing at Nick's iPhone.
Well,
right? Like you would like
it's a 5S still. I'm sorry, everyone.
So just remember
sad.
that like that was unfathomable 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And
10 years ago, I
it
had a
is now,
BlackBerry.
and even 5 years ago, we didn't
Pro.
realize how crazy these things would become and what they would do for us.
Yeah.
And now they're everyday important attachments. They're appendages. And so I'm telling you that like I disagree with you in the sense that I think this is going to happen way quicker than people think. And these companies, it is imperative and incumbent on these companies to make money. They have a fiduciary obligation to their shareholders. Uber, for instance, has $15 billion in cash to burn before they get to a point where they're going to be fucked, right? And unless they have another series of funding or an IPO, which would be a bad idea to do now, I think. And they're losing $1.2 billion on average a quarter as they slowly try to get to the point where they don't need humans to drive cars anymore. And I bet you that's not that far away. You know, I think that Apple has been working on Project Titan so-called Project Titan for years, which is their own driverless car.
Didn't they cancel it?
I don't know. I read a thing a few months ago that they're still hiring for it. So, you know,
Project Titan. I just want to be the guy that comes up with these names.
So to me, it's like these, like people are in, like, you know, technology, the idea of the singularity, which is really when computers become sentient and smarter than humans and learn better than humans, all those kinds of things, is a couple decades away. And we are really gonna have to. And this isn't a joke. This is something Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all these people talk about, that we have a lot to grapple with as a society and as a global society in the next few years.
It's basic math, right? It's basic like how many people are on the earth, how many people can be employed. At what point do we start thinking, how do we cull back the amount of people that are on the earth, right? Or does that just happen naturally? Like we're headed toward a highly mechanized society where we don't need as many people in the workforce. So what happens then, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I don't agree that they're going to find a use for these people. I think that we have...
Not all of them, not all at once, but I think it's going to be more, I think it's going to be
should
slower
start
than
more
you think.
wars, so they can go
Because
fight
even
wars
with the
for us.
self-driver cars, I think you have to have somebody behind the wheel. So it's like,
you need
now you're
maintenance
doing
for the
this.
cars. You need like people filling gas or like charging it or whatever. It's like that's the thing. It's like
Yeah, but those people already exist. The maintenance people.
No, but I'm talking
Not
about
on this scale. I mean,
yeah.
the scale he's talking about, like, think about how like, to get those cars out, how long it takes to build a car versus building a phone.
Right, but that's also, to be fair, a technologically savvy job. That's not something that a person that presses buttons at a McDonald's, no offense.
But I'm talking about chargers, like electric chargers, right? So somebody
That could be
their
automated,
pure
though.
job is to to make sure that the cars are being charged or whatever.
That can be automated.
Sure.
though.
Yeah. I mean,
That's easy as driving into a thing. A little thing goes, and then you're charged the car.
I think what ends up-
service industry
Yeah,
is true though. You have to have mechanics working on cars.
I think what ends up happening is this, and I think that I don't. This is a tough thing to grapple with as a liberty-minded society. But the whole Chinese, you can only have one kid thing because of their own safety network. And their own social network, and the idea that they really couldn't afford to support all these people was actually for the dynamics of the communists or their socialist system. What made sense is you might start seeing that kind of shit in Western countries.
Dude, there was already-
like there are way too many people in the world, and
There was that congressman from who was it? I forget what state he was from, but he was talking about trying to implement some sort of policy on sterilization or like mandatory birth control for people. I forgot. I got to look that up now. But I mean, I bet people think about that more often than not, as in terms of like population control, not necessarily wiping people out, but a matter of like what if we put some sort of isotope in the water that just made people sterile until they were like 30 and able to have kids and able to take care of kids. Like, it sounds completely Orwellian and completely ridiculous, but it's a solution, and it might be one that we have to employ.
yeah, I mean, as the society grows, there's a ton of people. There's not enough food. There's not enough water. There's no jobs. I mean, if you look at things from a global economic scale, if you look at Bangladesh, which first of all is going to be under fucking water in a few decades. Second of all, they make fucking nothing. They make all these random textile projects and stuff like that. They make no money. Everyone, that's why I don't believe in free trade, because everyone's on these different scales, different living standards and all this kind of stuff. It's all fucked up. If you really sit and just think about this situation. Thomas Friedman wrote 15 years ago a book called The World is Flat, which ended up being a really fucking amazing, salient book about the globalized economy and how it's really gonna fuck everything up, and how interesting it is, but also how, there's 1.2 billion people in China. There's, 3.5 times more people there than there are here, and most of them are unemployable in the technological fields. It's just, it goes back to, we have to push people into STEM. It goes into all these things, but eventually we have to realize that Amazon Go represents a very big problem, and I'm not saying that the solution is a bad problem. It's exciting, but that's coming from someone with a college degree who owns a business, who has skills that are marketable. And I'm not trying to, we all do. But what about the person who grew up in poverty and can't go to college and needs a job and all those kind of, like, what do they do? And this is a big question. And it's something we have to grapple with. And I thought that's why I got such ominous vibes from this particular commercial. And it felt almost Orwellian.
Well, first of all, the commercial did feel Orwellian because it was like it uses technology like science fusion, computer vision, the things you find in driverless cars. And like, I don't know what the fuck any of those things are. Those things sound terrifying. Like, the three terms they used sound like mind control, it's made up like science fiction
Mind
shit.
control.
deep learning algorithms.
It's terrifying. Also, the commercial just wasn't very. It was made, but you could tell it was made by someone from like a tech standpoint, and not they clearly didn't go to like a AAA advertising firm. Where like, just we'll take a cue from you guys how to market this to the general population, because it was very techy and very like it felt very isolating as far as like what it was trying to accomplish. It didn't feel ingratiating. It didn't feel like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna walk in here. This is gonna be a great experience. It felt like I'm gonna be alone one day and die, and the only person that'll know is the computer that comes to collect me.
Yeah.
And
We're years away from that AI, though. We've all played Last Guardian.
We all have Siri on our phones too, so I'm not too
PS4
worried
can't
about it.
handle the level of AI that they can probably build. The thing that I'll leave you guys with that I think is interesting, can be another topic entirely, is 3 American corporations now control pretty much everyone's information. And that's Facebook, Google, and
Apple.
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon.
Google controls and knows everything you do, all the things you search for, the things you buy. They market towards things that are in your emails. They've read all your emails. They know all your emails, all those kinds of things. They see all your search terms. They're in on everything, right? Amazon knows all of your purchasing behavior. You buy everything from Amazon. You even get entertainment from Amazon. They're learning and watching you as well, right? Facebook is all about your social interactions. They know who you're searching for, whose profiles you're looking at. They're learning all these things. It's getting very deep and very scary. And this goes back to a conversation with Colin we did years ago about Google, where these companies are becoming scary. And if people don't, and if people don't, it sucks because they're so good.
Google's the homie. Until Google fucks me, Google's the homie.
But the thing is that when they do fuck you, and I don't think it's an if, I think it is a when.
No, they already have.
But
When did they fuck me? All right, Google Plus wasn't that great.
I don't mean that. I mean, they were like, it wasn't Google one of the companies that with the whole Snowden thing? Like, weren't they compelled by the government to give all your personal information to the NSA?
Yeah, the NSA, that's a whole different thing that the telecoms and all these guys are doing. But what I'm saying is, like, when someone gets into Google and hacks it,
No,
know?
that's.
Like,
I mean, I don't worry about that. I mean, Google. You
should. Everyone should be very
Google
worried.
is like. That's a big beast to hack. Like, what part of Google are you going to hack? Like,
I don't know.
And they have the best engineers in the world making sure that's not going to be possible. I'm more worried about what they do with that information and what that says about us, right? Because sometimes I feel like I'm just another diode connected into the computer, or another electrical component of a chip of this big thing, right? At a certain point, when do we just give up and say we're no longer responsible for the things that we're doing? All of our decisions are just being catered to us and therefore taken away from us. Like, it's crazy. Like, some part of me, every time we use, I'm getting very philosophical and Tim's starting to smile. But every time I use something like Amazon, I'm like, are we losing a little bit of our humanity? Like, every time we use one of these services, every time we put another person out of their job, are we just losing a little bit of what makes us human? Are we just pushing ourselves toward that great?
Guys. Just adapt.
No, it's not about that, but like what we're talking about is really like, it's a deeply philosophical thing, right? 50 years from now, will human beings be what human beings were up until the turn of the century, right? They probably won't. Like, we'll just be different fundamental beings, and we're all just pushing towards something that is not humanity anymore. It's something different, and it's crazy.
It is. It's interesting. It was. I was talking to Aaron about the specific idea that you have grandkids in 50 years. You're telling them about the way it used to be,
Right.
and you're like, would you believe that I would go on this phone? And they might know the idea of what the phone is. I don't think anyone's using it anymore. There's probably things built into you at this point or whatever. Yeah. And I would call what we called an app. Mm-hmm. And someone would drive in a car, like a vehicle, and they'd probably be like, people drove them? And he'd be like, yeah. And a guy would come and pick me up and bring me somewhere. Like, that's the way this is. And they're like, wow, that's so crazy.
And they would never really know how to get there. And on the way, if you took a pool, they would pick 13 other fucking people up. Dude, I swear to God, I'm sorry, I'm not going to get off of pools. I've taken like a bunch of pools since my car's been broken down. It is the worst.
Pool, don't take pool.
It was like $5 versus $20. So I was like, oh fuck, I gotta take pool.
But I get what you paid for.
There's two other people there. The guy has no idea what he's doing. And on the way, he drops one off and picks someone else up. And I'm like, how long am I gonna be in this fucking car for, dude? Like, I could have walked there by now.
I've had nothing but great pool experiences, man. It's always just a fucking great.
It's because you got those blue eyes.
Yeah, I don't use pool. But just think about the stories you'll tell your grandkids and how quaint these days will be to them. Because as crazy as things are right now, they're gonna get fucking way crazy. In the next few decades, and as we reach the singularity, and as we reach robotics and AI and things passing Turing tests, and which is going to be when an AI is able to trick you into thinking it's human, you better fucking run away.
Yeah,
unless
it'll let you have sex with it, in which case, go ahead. Do some nasty shit to it.
These days are going to be looked back at as quaint, and we are a very unique transitional generation. We remember what it was like before the internet. And this is something that if you're 20 or 25 years old, you don't remember that. Like, I remember those days. We all remember those days before we had computers. I don't
necessarily remember those days.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, you might be the cusp, right? Yeah. Like, I remember getting our first computer. I remember putting our 486 on a 28.8 modem to connect to the internet in like 1994. Yeah. I remember these things and how quickly in 20 years or so, these things have come to fruition. We are at a very unique nexus in societal history, in humanity's history and in society's history. And I'm telling you, it's going to be exciting and different and interesting to go back and think about these days, and we're going to yearn for them in a very deep, nostalgic way because things are going to get fucking creepy. I guess that's where I'm getting at.
But isn't this what every past generation says? I mean, 50 years back, you look back, and I think we have it better than them. And I mean, you go further. I'm sure when people were worried about automobiles coming around, they were worried about carriage drivers being out of business and stuff to that extent.
Sure, it's like radio and TV, right? Or radio and the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's they had time video game magazines video game websites.
They had time to grapple with these things, though. I think that's a big thing that we're losing. Like the automobile, 1880s, 1890s, when they're really starting to deal with these things. Like they had time. Like there was no driver. You had to have a driver in a car, for instance, for 110 years. They didn't have to. But even, they dealt with certain 5 years ago, we didn't even know that this was possible.
Yeah,
Time Cop did, and that was in the 90s.
They dealt with this stuff. They dealt with industrialization. They dealt with markets going abroad or overseas, things like that. And those things happened in a span of 10 years. So, That was it, you know, in the 80s. I mean, look at the 80s. Look what happened in the 80s.
Again, I think my thing is that there's more of I think I'm giving more credit to adaptation than anything else. And the fact that I think when the first wave of driverless cars come around, it does have to be that conversation of, oh, this changes it. What am I going to do? Or what should people do? Or da 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 da. I don't think it's a light switch where one day it's all driverless cars and everybody's fucked.
I mean, just infrastructure of that. Just like, where do they go? Where do they park? Like, what does that mean for your cars? Do driverless cars and normal cars live in the same place and work in the same place? What's that do for gas? What's that do for how many electricity charging stations do they need to add to be able to?
Yeah, and I don't think we're gonna have 100
stuff.
years to come up with the answers. But then again, I also think we think faster than people.
How does
100 years ago
Toyota
did.
make all those Priuses?
Yeah, I mean, Priuses won't even be like Priuses are old news at that point.
They make
Uber.
Priuses
Every goddamn
in
Uber driver drives a
Midwestern
Prius.
factories with non-unionized workers.
Get it together, Tesla already.
I mean, Tesla.
get it together.
The advantage, one of the great advantages I think of being American right now, specifically in this new technological age, is that a lot of the companies that are changing the world are American, and we at least have we have a way to affect change and grasp at them a little bit and kind of mold and alter them in ways that I would feel a little bit more helpless if I was in a country that uses a lot of American technology but didn't necessarily have the agency over those companies that an American population, for instance, can by influencing change at the highest level in these particular companies. I think that's a often understated and interesting aspect to it. When you think about all these Tesla, Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Oracle, all of these companies that are doing crazy things, Uber, they're all American. And so I feel a little bit better in that way, not from a nationalist standpoint, but from a standpoint of like, if things get crazy with any of these companies, at least we're kind of at ground zero where we can be like, you guys need to...
We can rise up.
Yeah,
fight the
not
machines.
rise up, but be like, what are you doing? Or we more directly affect stock prices and we more directly affect personnel changes and personnel staffing at these companies, and it can have some sort of agency over the way that they are going to alter our realities. So there's a lot of, as Nick was saying, very philosophical issues that I think you guys will be surprised, and I think I see the writing on the wall. That things are going to get not bad. I think it's exciting, but
They're going to get crazy.
they're going to get different and they're going to get strange, and we have to start grappling with a lot of these ideas.
I
that are
agree with all
very-
that. I just don't think it's as negative as you're putting it out. And I think a lot of it is looking at the problems we'll face in 10 years with this situation that it is now, where I think that's going to change and evolve as it goes. My topic.
Yeah, boy.
Nick,
Yes.
you like movies.
I do love movies.
This is our final Game Over Greggy show of 2016 as we move into 2017. Early in 2016, I decided I wanted to see more movies. Then I wanted to be better about it. You know what I mean? Because I've always been bad about it.
Yeah.
I've seen more than 50 movies.
Good for you.
I've chronicled them all and where I saw them. Because we
watch
always
Chronicle?
I've seen
amazing.
Chronicle before.
I love
I did. This movie list does include things I've seen before. They're noted as such, but it also examines where I'm watching it, how I'm watching it, and what movies I've watched and why I watched them
Did
again.
it
all
say
right?
what you're wearing when you watched it?
No, sadly.
Too bad.
So now I'm
Black
sure I've
t-shirt.
missed
Odds are.
a handful of these.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm sure I've missed a handful of things. I forgot to do it.
We got
or
drunk.
I-
We don't think about Ghostbusters anymore.
No, it's on here. Don't trust me. I
No,
think
it's
about
unfortunate.
Ghostbusters quite a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna start running you through them. I want you to rate my list here.
Oh, you're gonna rate the list.
Everyone can do this. Chime in on movies you want to talk about too. All
Okay,
right?
great.
So I started 2016. The first movie I watched was Sleeping with Other People on Amazon.
Great.
You familiar with this one?
Nope, haven't
It's
seen
the
it.
Allison Brie one. Jason Sudeikis, I do
no,
believe.
I didn't see it.
Allison Brie, I love you.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was
was it
fun.
worth
It was
watching?
good. Romantic comedy.
Really?
Good.
Yeah,
I liked it a
Allison
lot.
How does it compare to Neighbors? I know different genre, but I put them in the same category.
Similar idea, I think.
I would never watch this, but maybe I would.
See, this is one of the things as you go through. I watched that on Amazon. You're going to see a lot of Amazon on here. And what I found myself doing a few times around on there was I'm big on going to Amazon, watching all the trailers for the new release movies, and then being like, I thought there was more movies I wanted to see than this. Because I feel like when we're in the theaters, trailers are going. And I'm like, yeah, I'd see that. Yeah, I'd see that. Yeah. And it seems like it's always 6 months later from me seeing something. And I go into Amazon, I'm like, I don't want to watch any of this crap. I'm not in the mood for this. But I would have been in the mood for it apparently when I saw the trailer. But what I started doing was taking a shot more. And Sleeping with Other People is one of them, where I'm like, oh man, it doesn't have that many stars. IMDb didn't like it that much, but I like both those people. I like those people. Like, why should I probably take a shot? And I did that. I started taking shots on movies where I was like, well, I like that. It's like how I went and saw, we'll get to it eventually, Central Intelligence, right? Where I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Rock and Kevin Hart, I'm fucking in. Let's go to the theater and see it. So Sleeping with Other People, straight out of Compton.
Love it.
I did The Visit
Yes.
on
Straight
Amazon.
Straight Outta Compton came
Yes.
out this year.
Yeah.
No, Straight Outta Compton
No,
was
this is again what I've
okay,
seen
okay.
in
I Visit was last
2016.
year as well.
So it's Sleeping with Other People, Amazon. Straight Outta Compton, Amazon. The Visit on Amazon. Which again, it was one of the movies I got too late. I think it was too hyped up, but I enjoyed myself. No big deal.
The Visit, not the best movie ever, but a surprisingly good movie for
Sure.
being M. Night Shyamalan. which is I think that's where the hype came from.
He used to be the homie. I feel so bad that it's fallen
with
off.
Visit. He still is the homie.
Yeah.
Is Psych out? Split Psych.
The one with Professor X?
Yeah.
It's I saw a commercial for it last night for the first time in forever, so I think it's on DVD now.
No fucking way.
Or is it out? Have I? Because this is my problem with movie trailers too. That you show me a trailer so fucking far away.
Yes. I don't think it's out yet. I don't think it's in.
I saw a trailer last night. I think when I was DVRing, watching my DVR of Walking Dead. So either it's about to come out
Is it
finally.
called Split?
I don't fucking
It's
know.
James
James McAvoy.
McAvoy. Thank you.
James McAvoy. Kev, you get back to us on that one. Watch Propaganda Wars on Netflix.
That's a great movie. That's the one about North Korea, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's a great one.
Yeah, and then, like they go to the Split is what it's called. Thank you. Yeah,
Comes out when?
Write that down. Propaganda Wars. Haven't seen it.
January 20th.
War is great.
Propaganda Wars, yeah, super interesting. The guy there who's like the English speaking expat, whoever, they're like, hey, and he's like on their ministry of like propaganda.
Yeah, that guy's been bouncing around. He's a Spanish guy, actually.
Yeah,
Spanish
yeah,
national.
yeah.
He's been bouncing around for like 20 years. He's like, oh, he's a fucking weirdo. That guy's
Yeah.
so weird. That's a really good movie.
All right, so then I watched The Intern on Amazon. I liked it a lot.
Oh, that's the one with De Niro, right?
Yeah, Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway.
I watched that on a flight. Someone in front of me was watching it on the way to PAX, I want to say. No, I was going to Nate's for Christmas last year. So around this time last year, no sound. So I don't know what it's about.
Right.
But I watched the entire thing. And I think
I love those movies.
I think I got an idea. Like he's trying to get back into the business. His woman owns a business. Her husband's cheating on him.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah, you're right there. You're right there. I liked it a lot. And again, this is a thing of I like Anne Hathaway and I like Robert De Niro, and I didn't get around to seeing it in the theater, so it's on Amazon. Why not take the shot?
You
What
know
do I
who
have
hates
to
Anne
lose?
Hathaway?
Who?
Paula.
Why does
hates
Paula
Anne
hate
Hathaway?
Anne Hathaway,
Fucking
Kevin?
hates her.
That's weird.
Don't get me started. I fucking love Anne Hathaway. One of my favorite actresses.
Okay.
Paula with a passion.
And Paula
despises her.
passionately hates her.
Now, this is the first repeat of the 2016.
What does that mean?
I've seen this movie before.
Oh, okay.
Goodfellas. I
So good.
got Goodfellas off Amazon. I forget who hadn't seen Goodfellas, and I was like, oh, we're watching Goodfellas. Got it off Amazon. I love Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a fantastic movie.
Phenomenal film.
Everyone watch Goodfellas. First time going to a theater in 2016, Room. Went and saw Room. Remember this movie? Mm-hmm.
That's with
Brie
Allison.
Larson?
No,
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. I liked
Yeah,
that
yeah.
movie.
Real
I
good.
actually saw that one, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, that was a really, really good one. I like that one a lot. And that was one of those that I knew it was a really good movie by the fact that it stuck with me so long. Is that I saw it and then weeks later we're still thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Let me
It's
give
on
a
Amazon Prime right now.
I thought it was weird
Get
that the I think we talked about this, Nick, that that Brie Larson got a nod, right, for an Academy Award for that.
But the kid didn't.
But the kid didn't. The kid was the kid was awesome. It was really shocking to me.
He won some other award though, right? I remember him giving a speech
Probably
and thanking his
Golden Globe.
parents. Okay.
But yeah, Brie Larson's just kind of she had a moment around that where, they were highly campaigning for her. So I don't know.
Then she became Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she's Captain Marvel now.
Exciting for that.
She's also got some other movie coming out that you can tell she filmed like 20 years ago or 5 years ago.
And somebody's been sitting on it till
Oh,
she
yeah,
hit.
it's that one
Yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
you guys have probably seen the preview for it. It's with her. It's all in one place, and they're all trying to kill each other. It's just a bunch of assassins that are trying to kill each other, and she's in it. And she's like, it's like her, but her from like maybe a year or two after 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Like really
That
right
sounds
that spot.
awesome.
Yeah.
Next on Amazon, Birdman. Did not like. We talked about this in Colin Moriarty Live. Didn't
not
stick
surprised
for
by
me.
it.
I was like, oh, what's going on here?
Birdman was dope as fuck.
Okay, glad you liked it. Batman Bad Blood on Amazon. An animated feature with Batwoman. We saw that today again on Colin Moriarty Live. We were going through my Amazon purchases because we're making reference to it. I don't even remember what that fucking movie's about. Like literally, I don't even remember. I remember her getting in a fight with her father. Deadpool in the theater, of course, great. Saw Man Up on Amazon. Now here's the thing about Man Up. I legitimately also have no idea what fucking Man Up. Okay, Kevin, can you show me what Man Up is? Sure. All right, so Free Fire is the Brie Larson. This has been cooking forever. That poster looks terrible. That does not look good.
The movie looks really funny from the trailer.
Show me Man Up now. What this movie was on Amazon. I'll give you my recap of it. Oh wait, hold on. It might have. No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, the Simon Pegg romantic comedy. All right, yeah, this was another good one. This is recommended as well. I forget who stop going back to fucking Brie Larson's shit movie. Man Up. Who wrote Man Up or directed it?
Ben Palmer directed it.
Uh-huh.
S. Morris wrote it.
Okay, that doesn't help me at all. Burnt I saw on Amazon as well. That was that Bradley Cooper one where he's the disgraced chef. He's come back to get his Michelin star stuff. It was really good. Again, I'm just cook. No, it was another one where I was like, I had seen trailers for it a long time ago. I swear to God, if I see this Brie Larson poster one more time
Is
from
it
you.
worth watching?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Like it was a thing of like, I really like Bradley Cooper, and it was another thing where no one ever talked about that movie, but I saw it in the thing. I'm like, you know what? I will do that. 10 Cloverfield Lane in the theater. Great movie.
Liked it a lot. Ending was weird, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Tumble Down on Amazon. Vaguely, I can't give you much on what this one was. I need to see the poster. Kevin, give me Tumble Down. Saw Bridge of Spies on Virgin America.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
I enjoyed it fine. It was a take it or
That's
leave
about
it
the Cold
thing.
War?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tom
that's
Hanks.
about the trade where Tom Hanks gets called into it, like because it's based on a true story where he's like a lawyer and they're like, "Yo, we need you to like broker this deal." between
Dead
the
Drop
spies."
Away. Yeah.
Yeah, on at Checkpoint Charlie, like during the Cold War.
Cool.
It's a cool concept. I just didn't. It was very Spielberg. Like Spielberg when he's like, "All right, everyone, get the paintbrushes out, get the numbers out. Let's start painting by numbers." Like this, I know this is gonna evoke emotion here. Yanis, get your camera. Yanis can't hear anymore.
That was the thing of I think it's on a Virgin America flight, right? It wasn't something that I wanted to go to the theater for enough, and I didn't want to watch on
Not that funny.
Amazon. I know he's just gonna keep going though, so you ignore him. Amazon, but then seeing it on Virgin America, I was like, that's fine.
Yeah,
Get it done on a flight. Midnight Special, saw that in the
Ooh,
theater.
I have not seen that
Midnight
yet.
Special was really fun, and
I
I
like
was
that a lot. I think that's on Amazon.
I went on a opening, whatever day or whatever with some friends when it was down at not RTX, the other Austin one, South by Southwest, and I was like, oh cool, I have no expectations for this movie, but it's got Zod in it. I'm interested. And I was like, oh, this is fun. This is cool. Science fiction. All right. Then Batman v Superman in the theater.
Great.
Then Batman v Superman in the theater in 3D. Then Batman v Superman in the theater. Then The Invitation on Amazon. Now, which one's The Invitation? You remember this one?
I don't know.
Kevin,
Is it
throw up
one
The
where- is it
Invitation.
the one where Dan
I
and
think
Bill
this-
need wedding dates?
No, I didn't see that. This is the one I do believe that is the one that Alamo did. Yeah, that Alamo did through their production company and promoted the shit out of it at Alamo Drafthouse Forever. But basically, this guy's invited over to his ex-wife's house for a dinner party with all their old friends, and it gets all creepy and cool. Another one I didn't hear anybody
then they
talk about.
Kev, can you
Really
just leave those
enjoyable
up on the big screen?
Really, really enjoyable
No, just on there.
on the TV
It's
below.
just it's
us.
too hard to see when it goes down to the little one.
Oh well, I was just showing them.
Yeah, that they don't need it. We'll read off them. No one.
Okay,
We don't care about
Then I saw Batman v Superman in the theater again. Then I saw Civil War in the
you're a
theater.
fucking idiot.
Then I saw Civil War in the theater.
Civil War's great.
Yeah, well, the Spider-Man part was awesome.
War's great.
Then I saw Hush on Netflix. You see Hush?
No.
It's got Jim from Newsroom in it, and it's about like this deaf woman, right, in her house, like cabin all alone, and then Jim's coming and like attacking and stuff. It's fucking scary, but it's cool. I recommend
It's
that
like
one.
Jennifer
too.
8.
Netflix.
Remember that movie?
No, I don't remember Jennifer.
Remember
8.
Thurman?
Don't breathe.
Oh, don't breathe. That's on my list.
Don't breathe.
Of movies that were
I saw We Are Still Here on Netflix. Now this was a Jimmy Champagne recommended horror flick because I think I liked Hush so much I wanted another horror flick. I tweeted about it. He gave it to me. Super fucking weird. Really weird foreign horror movie or whatever, but it's got some good special effects for the people who are like the ghost people. I wouldn't recommend it, but go watch the ghost people special effects. All
Champagne.
right. Saw Hateful Eight finally on Amazon.
Hell.
What'd you think?
Yeah.
I loved it. It was one of those that I forget what happened. Why I didn't go see it with all of you.
Colin said done. I don't want to.
I didn't go see it with all of
I saw
you.
it for opening day.
And people came out with mixed opinions on it. And then when I got it and I put it on, I was like, "This is fucking exactly what I love about Tarantino. Just talk forever and let's see what happens."
I forgot why I didn't like it. What the hell? Why didn't I like it?
I think it was just
There was
too much
two
like a
chapters
play.
they should have switched the
Yeah.
order of. Besides that, fucking fantastic.
I gotta go back and listen to old show because I think we did a topic on that show. I remember being really disappointed. I like Tarantino a lot. I remember being, especially after Django Unchained, which is fucking phenomenal.
Right.
I thought this was a huge
Tim's favorite
disappointment.
movie.
I thought this was a huge
Favorite movie of all
disappointment.
time.
Second, Pulp
Django
Fiction
Unchained.
loves it.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I think the fact that maybe the people had already knocked it down lowered my expectations going in. I had a great time. Really enjoyed it. Saw Barista on Amazon, documentary about being a barista and them going to some barista competition. It was fine. Saw The Lobster in theater. This is that.
That's on my Amazon queue right now.
It's good. It's
the Colin
weird.
Farrell,
Yeah.
weird indie. Yeah.
Yeah, super weird. It's got the girl from Mummy in it too. I forget her name. But anyways, interesting. Really
Rachel
crazy
Weisz.
ending. Yeah, that's right. The Conjuring 2 in theaters. I liked Conjuring 1 so much that I had to go see Conjuring 2, and I wanted to put my money where my mouth is because, again, I like the couple in it, right?
Yeah.
But it was Amityville, and I was like, all right, that's cool. And then it was just like,
Yeah, I saw
Amityville.
Conjuring 1, and I was like, everyone hyped it up so much, like it was the fucking, this is the best horror movie in years.
Yeah.
And I was like, was it really? That's not a good sign for horror movies. Then I saw Conjuring 2 and I'm like, man, why'd I keep watching this?
Conjuring 2 is one that I had to reach there to remember what the fuck it was about, right? But I just remember that, again, that I like the couple.
There was Annabelle was in between.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't need the backstory in the doll.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even sure. They weren't in it, right? The couple?
I don't think so.
Patrick Wilson.
Conjuring
Vera-
2
is it Vera Farmiga? Is she on
directed
it?
by James Wan.
I think so, yeah. I think he did the whole both of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
He
Okay.
did
Let
Fast 7.
Yes.
Then I saw Central Intelligence Theater. Again, this is going with my thing of I like these people. I like the Conjuring people. I'll go see their movie. I like The Rock and Kevin and Hart. Sure. It was a fun, stupid movie. Whatever. Saw Ghostbusters, the original, in theater when they were doing that, getting ready.
I saw that with you, didn't we? Didn't we all go to that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that was
You
fun.
went with me. I think it was you, me, and Aransky, right?
That's right.
It's like
That
when
was fun.
Aransky's like, yeah, I'm dying and my organs are failing. I'll have a beer. And we're like, is that okay? And you're like, nah. He's like, nah, but you got to live sometimes. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, you have a child.
You got to live for them. We all went and saw Independence Day Resurgence.
Yes.
That was a bad movie.
What a
That
kick
was
in the-
such an okay.
That was a
movie.
kick
It
in
was
the
one of the
balls.
worst things I've ever seen in my life.
It's not that bad.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Absolutely
bad.
not.
It's one of the worst things. It was after the opus that was Independence Day 1.
Sure.
I expected way more.
Did you see Will
were
Smith's
silly.
statement?
You were
That
really
I read it
silly.
today on Colin Moriarty Live about why he didn't do why he did Suicide Squad instead of Independence Day.
Because they were both going to be terrible, but that one was going to be less terrible, so he did that one.
He was
instead.
like he wanted to he didn't want to claw backwards. He wanted to look forward and try to build something and maybe have a heyday again. I was like, damn, deep ass Will Smith quotes here.
We could have really used you, Will.
Then I shook it up, went and saw Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition in theaters.
Why do you like it so much?
It's Batman and Superman. Then saw me and Kevin for the. Me, Kevin, and I went and saw Swiss Army Man in theaters.
Oh, shit. I got to watch that still.
I enjoyed it. It's a weird ass movie.
Weird movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Saw Ghostbusters 2016 in theaters. No, thank you. Saw Everybody Wants Some on Amazon at Nick's recommendation.
think?
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just some stuff that happens to people.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
that was the thing.
That's
Even
Linklater.
we talked about it. Even Dazed and Confused, I felt like
It's the same thing.
They were throwing the party. Then what are they gonna do? And then all right, the freshman, how is he gonna fit in? Like there was like narrative threads there.
Yeah, this
Whereas
one-
this
yeah,
one was
yeah,
like, they all play baseball and you're in a house and this is your first 3 days.
Yep.
We're gonna fuck and we're gonna do this. And we're like, all right,
There's a lot of tits in it. It's great.
that is
Great
true.
tits, too. You can tell the person that was casting was like, I'm the authority on tits. And I'm going to make
And I
this.
need to see some titties here.
I'm going to make this.
Saw The Witch on Amazon.
The Witch.
The Witch is a horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another one where everybody hyped up.
everyone loved
Everyone
that.
hyped up.
Really good.
Wait, was The Witch the one with
was-
the really creepy trailers? They were like on a farm.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, okay.
a period piece or whatever.
Yeah,
They're like in
yeah.
the bonnets and whatnot. Yeah,
It was like a big deal.
Oh,
was
cool.
fine.
It's like a colonial era.
yeah. It's somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact.
Salem?
Yeah,
It feels like that.
that's why. And I'm not sure if they spell it out or whatever. Yeah.
That's one of those movies that I saw the trailer and I'm like, I don't want to see this movie because that trailer is fucking awesome. That trailer was scary as hell. There's no way the movie looks.
Well,
like
that was it. Was another one that had such polarizing opinions, where people were coming out of it and being like, "This is the best horror movie I've ever seen," or "This didn't deliver at all." And I was doing it, so I had to give it a shot and watch it. I enjoyed it fine, but it was like, all right, well, where are we going with this? What are we gonna do?
I feel like that actress, the main girl in it, was really good.
Yeah, no, yeah, she was young too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was good. Saw Antichrist on Amazon. There's a Willem Dafoe one.
Terrible.
Awful, so bad. Yeah, this is a Jen idea. She's heard things about this. There's crazy sex in it. I was like, all right, and we watched it. I was like, this movie's. We stopped it.
Oh, okay.
This is-
Get to the part where he bleeds out of his dick.
I don't know if I got to the bleeding
I
out of
think
that
you,
dick part.
I
Kevin,
think
last
you'd probably remember if you got to the part where he bleeds out.
I mean, it's one of those I don't remember much about it. They're dumb dead kid. Saw Batman: The Killing Joke in theaters with you guys. Rewatched Ferris Bueller's Day Off on Amazon
good.
because that was one of those. I was like,
that 2 days ago.
I was like, I haven't watched this as an adult. There's and I did the same thing. It's coming up here eventually. I'll just
Wait,
do it
I got
now.
a question for you, though.
Caddyshack, where I was like, I haven't
fine.
seen
Yeah.
Caddyshack as an adult.
Yeah.
Grew up watching it, didn't know anything about it there. What do you
Ferris
got?
Bueller's Day Off. I've seen that movie probably, I gotta say, conservatively 20 times in my life. And we were watching it over the weekend. I was down in Santa Cruz over the weekend, and someone asked me a question that broke my fucking mind. And apparently, it's a very popular question for Ferris Bueller's, but I never thought of it before. Whose house were they at when they were in the pool?
Do they
Nope.
talk? No, it's
Because
not.
he has to race back
is
to
it
Ferris's.
Is it Sloane's?
I always thought it was Sloane's because she's the one getting
She
out of the
stays.
pool,
I
right?
think so, but it's never really specified that it is. We just don't know. They're just
Or
fucking
is it
random
Ro- is it-
house.
is it Judge-
No, it's not Sloane's because Sloane had to be in her.
Right. Was it so? It
She would have gotten to
been,
put a bikini on because it's her house, but she was in her slip the entire time. So it's not Sloane's house, and it's not Cameron's house because Cameron's house is in the forest and doesn't have a pool.
Cameron's dad. There's something wrong with him, right?
He's a
He's like an
dick,
abusive asshole. Yeah.
No, but in real life,
Oh, I don't know.
weren't we talking about this not too long ago? Wasn't there something?
That was the principal.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's
Rooney.
Jeffrey-
Yeah,
that's Jeffrey
Rooney's a
Jones.
pedophile.
Yeah, he's a pedophile, unfortunately.
Something's wrong with him.
To say the least. To say the least.
I mean,
Anyway, yeah.
and so it was.
So apparently that's the one big question about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. No one knows what
That's
fucking
the
house.
one big
Well, no one knows.
question,
They just
What does the
fucking
script,
randomly.
what does the script say?
I've never read the
I
script.
can't
but-
remember either. Yeah, I always interpreted it as I never thought about it, but even watching it, I thought maybe they were using someone's pool or Sloane's pool.
I assume
don't know.
I assume they were, but there at no point did they specify whose pool that was. So it leads you to believe that either A, they knew someone that had a pool and randomly just went into either way, they went into their backyard without permission because they're not supposed to. It's not like you can call their parents up and be like, hey, can we use your pool? We're paying hooky from school today. And no one knows. We had this elaborate plan that involves this pool. But I just assumed they were at Ferris's house. And then someone's like, no, they're not at Ferris's house. Because why would he need to race back like to his own house? I'm like, oh, that's a good fucking point, man. They were just there. Why did he just stay there? He could have just
around
stayed
the
there.
block.
Yeah.
I always find it more interesting that like when the parents are coming home and Ferris has to race, back to the house. It's like what 5 o'clock, right? I think that's a big part. Or it's early though, right? And he runs through like the most populated backyards for a weekday at like 4:30.
Yeah,
I've
there's,
ever
like,
seen.
two high school
he
girls
goes
just
through and
chilling.
they're like cooking on the grill. I'm like, who's eating at 4:45 right now?
got kids,
The
man.
whole
You gotta eat
family's
early.
home.
They're that's their schedule. So you said you watched Caddyshack as well?
Yeah.
Caddyshack is great.
Caddyshack is fucking
And to be clear, a rewatch.
phenomenal.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's still a perfect. Rodney Dangerfield, his one, like, because when you read about that movie,
So inappropriate.
it's one of the only movies I know anything about. When you read about that movie, it was really supposed to be about Danny, and they just basically rewrote it.
Yeah, 'cause Danny
like
sucks.
because
They
Danny's
were
not
about that
interesting. But then they were like, dude, we have
Every
We have-
great comedic like mind of our generation.
and Rodney Dangerfield, like from the fucking get-go, is just
No offense.
the best. No offense. It's my friend Wang. No offense. But he like in the club or whatever when he's like he's just handing money out to everyone and just saying snide ass shit to people or like, get a haircut. Like,
Yeah.
Just the little quips and one-liners. Like he's just so brilliant. What a great
That's
comedian and
classic.
what a
That's
great
classic,
great
bro.
man.
I still hold that Chevy Chase is the best part of that movie.
Really?
Yeah, I
Chevy Chase and Bill Murray
Murray.
wouldn't even do any of those scenes together. I didn't know that. Like that one scene where they're in the warehouse, or it was the only time they ever interact with each other. They hate
they
each
did
other.
not like each other.
And I
lot of
never
people
realized
just
that
didn't
when you
like
watch
Chevy
it, they're
Chase.
totally never on screen together.
That broke
Except
my
for
heart to learn because apparently Bill Murray was fine, but everyone just did not like working with Chevy Chase.
Yeah, Chevy
He was
Chase is a
apparently
douche, and that's why I said. I think we talked about this. The roast of Chevy Chase on Comedy Central is some of the most brutal shit I've ever seen in my life because it's like everyone means exactly what they're saying to him.
Damn.
and they're destroying him. You should watch it.
I'm
It's
gonna watch
amazing.
that.
We just dig all the way up through Community.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that he made such a big stink when he left SNL because he thought he was like the guy and that this wouldn't last without him. And then he made a bunch of movies that were good, but then just totally tapered off and went away.
Oh, you want cocaine?
Cocaine,
Yeah, he burned a
What
lot.
else?
Of
What else
bridges
you
like
got?
The Resurrection of Jake the Snake on Netflix. I watched Jake the Snake. That was a really good one, right? DDP Yoga saving his life. Good for them. We went and saw Suicide Squad in the theaters.
We did.
We won't talk about it. Pop Star on Amazon, which I liked. It was
okay.
a
Never
dumb
Stop, Not
comedy.
Stopping?
Yeah, it was a dumb comedy. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it was good enough. It was better than it could have been.
I wish it wasn't done in that mockumentary style though. I wish it was just a movie, a straightforward movie
Interesting.
with moments where they were talking. to
As
the
opposed to
camera,
like a
but,
Christopher Guest.
Yeah,
kinda
it was very much Spinal Tap, where it was like kind of reality TV style. I don't know. I wanted to see more of that story.
I went and watched JFK Jr. on Amazon, a documentary about him, because that was one of those things. I remember him dying, right? And my mom, Jamie Kennedy, right? She has some far-flung connection to the Kennedy family. She cared about all that in Camelot, and and like, of course, JFK's assassination is like that generation's 9/11. Right? I remember growing up, and she can remember every moment of how that, how she found out about it. And then when 9/11 was happening, I was like, holy fuck. This is what that is, you know what I mean? To have that kind of thing. But what was mind-boggling for me watching it was the idea, like, I remember his plane crashing and me being in high school because I remember coming back from Michael Bryan's after playing Smash Brothers all weekend, and it was like, okay, and like the news was like the plane's missing, what happened to him? And it's now being so far flung, and for me to think about John F. Kennedy, the president, right? It feels like such ancient history, but to think about there was a contemporary piece of him still alive, living in New York, you know what I mean? That was this like ladies' man is settling down in like
magazine, right?
Yeah, exactly. George, this royalty that even they talk about in the documentary, right? That even though he would say he wasn't, he was constantly being groomed. People expect him to eventually run for public office and probably run for the presidency one day and try to bring back all that. And so to see that, and then of course the tragedy and just Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? That family.
That was somewhere 99, I think, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
I remember that too.
Yeah. And now they got that, 2017 movies. I want to see that Jackie movie with Natalie Portman. Looks awesome. It's getting
Yeah,
good
that looks
reviews.
amazing.
Yeah. Saw Finding Dory on a plane.
Huh.
That was enjoyable.
I still haven't seen it.
Really? It's
Yeah.
enjoyable. It's Fun.
Finding Nemo was one that I was like, it's obviously good.
Yeah.
Just never really like
Never connected with you.
got into me.
This one, like her as baby Dory, too cute, and her getting torn away from her folks, heartbreaking. You know what I mean?
You just think about
But then I remember I'm on a
Portillo
plane, I'm sitting there, I'm eating peanuts, I'm doing great, eating
Right.
some beef jerky, playing some Vita,
It's
everything's
also a cartoon,
dynamite.
it's not real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw X-Men Apocalypse on the same plane. Not nearly as bad as everybody made it out to be.
Not great though.
No, I didn't say it was great, but I mean it was like okay, cool. But I mean like the way this is very similar, I think, to how people talked about Batman v Superman leaving the theater, or not even leaving, but like initially of like it's worse than Batman and Robin. That's how people were talking about X-Men Apocalypse, and I watched them like that's fine. It's another dumb X-Men movie, but there's a lot of those. This is no X3. X3 is fucking awful. This isn't that.
I still haven't seen it.
X3.
No.
Don't ever see X3. Don't. It never existed. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, and you don't have to rush out. But again, on a plane where I gotta watch something, sure. For the first time since its release on iTunes, watched Final Destination at Halloween.
Devin
Sawa, what's up? Yeah.
it.
God, I forgot all about that.
Oh, Destination.
I probably
movie.
retweet him more than I retweet any other human being on the
Because
planet.
he likes UFC so much.
His
Yes.
tweets are fucking gold sometimes.
Yeah, he's got some
yeah.
good stuff in there. You guys, anyone
He's
out there,
so
should follow
funny.
him.
Yeah. And that was the one too where Stifler isn't playing Stifler, but it makes all these like Rangers jokes and Islanders. I'm like, all right, cool. Bartender at Large, Eric Castro's flick. Went and saw that in theater when he came
Very good.
through. Yeah, very, very good. If you have a chance, see it. Watched Zootopia on a plane as well.
Yes.
That was fine. Overblown nonsense. How much people love that
man.
thing.
That,
Whatever.
I think that might be one of the best movies of the year.
It's about independence and it's good.
Here's the
Top
thing.
2 for me for sure.
I didn't like Jason Bateman's character all that much. And I'm a Jason Bateman fan, have been since the Hogan's Family. I'm not going anywhere. I wanted it to like him more, and it took him too long to come around. And then even then, it
Hogan
was fine.
Family.
Hogan Family, what up?
Fucking rules.
Then this is an interesting one to be added to the list. This is the same flight as Zootopia. One Wild Moment, a French flick that I watched with the subtitles. I tweeted about this at one point that it was a similar situation to Colin's intern thing, where I was watching it off the seat in front of me. Because I forget what I started to watch. It wasn't one of these, but I was so bored with whatever I started, I stopped. But I just looked over and saw this movie. It's subtitled, so I'm already reading it, and it's this, two older gentlemen go with their daughters to this, seaside village or whatever for vacation. One of the guys sleeps with the other guy's daughter, and then it's like this whole trying to hide it and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm in. I got to see this. So then I started it on my screen so I could watch it and get the
better
whole
hope you
thing.
don't
I
have
wanted to
daughters.
see what. Huh?
Nothing.
Then it was Doctor Strange in theaters, which we loved.
Yes.
Arrival in theaters, which we loved. I loved.
I loved it too.
Love Actually in theaters again, which obviously is a repeat. And then rounding it out, I watched, I guess this weekend, that Don't Breathe one.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
Yeah, Fidel. Or what is
Fide.
it? Fide. Sorry,
Alvarez.
our friend
Alvarez.
from we met him at Comic Con during Evil Dead.
Really
I
nice
bought
guy.
him Nashville. He watched Nashville. He likes Nashville.
love him.
We still talk every so often on Twitter. It was fucked up.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Tim
we
and
saw
I
it
went
in
saw it.
theaters.
Oh, whoa! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
No, Don't Breathe fucking. That's another one of my movies of the year too, because
That's
it was
definitely
just
on the list.
It nailed it for what it was trying to do, and it was the opposite of The Conjuring, where I'm like, no, this was not an overblown horror movie. This was a fucking great. Like I've never felt so tense in a movie ever.
The one thing, and this is going to sound stupid because even the trailer kind of hints at it, that I think would have made me go see it faster because I'm going to support this guy. I like him. Internet friends and such. But the problem was that, I can't stand horror movies where bad things happen to good people. And so the way the trailers initially made it look, granted, they were going to break in and rob this guy. They didn't make her, the main character in it, the woman, look like a dirtbag. And the trailers always gave me the impression that she was kind of along for the ride, maybe, and she was going to be like, let's not do this, guys, how we're doing it. And then you watch them like, oh, man, no, you guys fucking suck. I really hope this guy goes fucking ham on you. And then he starts going ham on it, and then you find out about him. You're like, I don't know who. Now you're all bad
I know,
people,
man.
and I don't, whatever. Fuck y'all.
It's cool. It was fucked up, and like
Yeah.
it kept getting more fucked up, but in a way that, I mean, granted, there's some things that happen in that movie that are like, really? But in a cool way, not in a like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, ugh, this is like such a, like, because horror movies, and I mean, it's a horror movie, but it's also kind of not. It's also way more of a thriller. They have problems with endings. Endings
Yeah.
are the
Yeah,
hardest
yeah,
thing to
yeah.
nail. And I think that it did a great job of creating a plot that kept things going. There was twists that felt like rewarding and earned, and the end was awesome. And there's talks of sequels, but the thing is, they're talking about doing a sequel, and he's like, but the direction we got is totally different than this one, but it's more about the idea and concept, and we're not doing it until it's perfectly the story we want to tell. I'm like, I'm fucking in, man.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, you proved it to me. Like, this was really damn good.
Don't Breathe. Cinematic universe.
Yeah, I'm in, man.
Fantastic.
It's gonna be like the monster universe. We'll have 3 ones of different fucked up guys, and then they'll be like they have to team up to go after a really fucked up guy.
One's blind, one's deaf, and the other one just can't speak, and he clearly has the advantage over the other two.
Do you know what this movie called? The concept is essentially they go in to rob a blind guy's house, but it's the wrong fucking blind guy. to
Oh
rob.
damn! Well, it was funny because that other movie you saw was about a blind woman getting stalked, right?
Yeah. Or no, not blind.
blind, oh, she's deaf.
Deaf. And I think
I see.
mute too, because I think she have to sign everything.
Oh shit, Cool Greg told me about that movie.
Yeah. It's another one that's like fucked up because I don't like torture porn, right? And that's the whole thing. And even Hush was like that thing where it got so many people I knew were saying they liked it, and I like the gym guy from Newsroom that I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna watch it. But it was that thing of like, she's a good person. This really fucking sucks. This horrible things keep happening to her and blah blah. But it was all right. It was good. In the end, they got there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the one movie I saw this year. I can't remember what the fuck the name of it was interesting. It was about these 2 guys that go on a trip around the world. One of them is like really sick. And
Bucket list: Jack Nicholson, Morgan Freeman.
And he has like this problem with his head or his brain or whatever. And they like one of the first nights they're overseas, he gets attacked by some woman, wakes up and is like all sick, but he ends up like getting like these superpowers, or like he's like someone out there. I know you guys know it. It's a really bizarre movie. It wasn't bad.
Who's in it?
I don't. It seemed like it was very indie. I've never seen the guys in my life. I'm sure people will remind me in the comments what it is. It was a strange kind of film about this guy that like is like super sick and like dying, but gets these imbued with like these weird powers. Like he's able to like run really quick or like do all these kinds of things, and everyone's like super shocked. It's cool because it's very grounded. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, why are you acting like this? He's like super strong. He can't eat or hold anything down. He keeps throwing everything up that he eats and stuff like that. It's a weird movie. I forget what the fuck it's called.
Jesus, I hadn't even heard of that.
Okay.
You missed a few.
What did I miss?
There's a few that are still coming out too that we got to see before the holidays.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That we're recording this before this, well before this post.
Right,
so I will have seen Rogue One as well.
Right, we're going to see Rogue One, which is obviously this week, and then obviously the number 1 on my list is La La Land. I have to see that.
Yeah,
I have not seen that. Has not come
I
out
wanna
yet.
see it so
It builds
bad.
into my topic, which is going to happen in a couple of seconds. But that's one of those where I really think that's going to be a unique film. I'm really very much looking forward to it. There's also Hacksaw Ridge and Moonlight that are supposed to
Hacksaw
be
Ridge I got to see.
phenomenal. I didn't watch Hacksaw Ridge because for some reason I have a weird aversion to Andrew Garfield doing an American accent or a Southern accent, partially because I think it sounds terrible. But everyone loved that movie and they thought it was amazing. And then Passengers I think is also coming out still.
That
I don't
does
know if
look
that might
interesting.
be a 2017 movie now that I'm thinking about it. But I think you
That's
would
also a plane movie. I'm gonna see that on a plane.
You would also like War Dogs.
No, that was that War Dogs is the one where
The
I
Uncharted movie.
No,
it's Miles Teller and Jonah
the
Hill.
one
Kinda,
that fucking
yeah.
looks like Uncharted.
Yeah.
It's totally like I thought the trailers looked great and it came out and got bad reviews and
Yeah.
as you saw from my list, I rarely get to the theaters unless it's for us doing stuff. So then I've seen it on my Amazon. I added it to my list, but that was even after you told me. It's like no, it's fun.
It's fun. It's totally fun. It's completely ridiculous. It's like a more whimsical version of Lord of War with that Nicolas Cage movie where he plays an arms dealer. It's totally fucked up. I liked it. I thought I read some of the reviews too. I'm like, it's kind of unfounded. This is a pretty good movie.
That movie you just saw,
Passengers.
that's the one about them waking up from cryo sleep.
Yeah.
That does look
Yeah,
really
that looks
neat.
cool.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that one. I gotta go see that. When does that come
When's
out?
it come out, Kev? Yeah.
December.
And you haven't
Thank
seen
you.
Arrival yet, right?
No, I saw it. I saw it the
okay.
opening night at the Marina.
Oh, that's right. And you
theater.
liked it or no?
I loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was a little. God, I can't remember my complaints about certain things anymore because I really liked it, but there was one specific thing I didn't like about it. It seemed like
dark.
it seemed like it was a little obtuse. Like there, I don't want to spoil it. There's the aliens talk about their intent very briefly about why they're doing this, but they
Right.
never wrap it up. Like
We need you and like
and I'm
Don't
like,
spoil it for people.
yeah, I'm like, why are you going? It's the same problem I had in my one hang up with Interstellar, where I'm like, why is this so complicated?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
if the answer, like, why are you making it so hard to figure out? Just say what you need to say. If you're this smart, then you can be able to communicate. You know, like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's a very interesting. Well, it kind of does and kind of doesn't, right?
Interstellar
I
makes
think-
less sense than Arrival, though.
Well, Arrival part of it was the fact that there was a lot baked into them having to figure out what they were saying and having to figure out like their language and things like that, right? Because that kind of built toward the main plot.
But with Interstellar, they're like, we put the wormhole out by Saturn.
Right.
It's going to bring you to 12 planets. Don't know which of these is going to... It's like, why don't you just put the wormhole like
Right by Earth,
outside
right
of the
by the
moon,
moon,
and
right.
fucking tell us where to go?
And
You know,
like, no,
why
have
is
the
this
moon,
so
have the
obtuse?
moon, have the wormhole just spit us out right in front of the fucking planet. You don't even have to tell us which one. It's just obvious because the planet's really big and the other ones are really small. So we're like, let's try this one.
Yeah, it's
first.
like
We're
you can only go. You only have time to go to.
Gravity, guys.
You only have time to go to 2 of the 12. So you got to figure out what it's like. Why? Just tell me where to go.
Yeah.
Put a fucking signpost and point me to the planet.
or another wormhole.
And keep me away from that Matt Damon planet, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
goddamn.
You're always saying that you need people to tell you movies you need to watch. There's one coming out in a couple weeks. It's the new Fassbender movie.
Assassin's Creed.
Yes. Think you're going to love it.
It's finally gonna do away with your biggest complaint about Assassin's Creed, the gameplay.
Is he gonna walk around and bump into things and accidentally jump off of buildings? This sounds very realistic.
Climbing up wall.
Fucking Assassin's Creed.
So I think we can all agree
Kill
the
me.
best movie I saw was Batman
Kubo.
v Soup. No.
And the two strings.
Yeah, you haven't
need
seen
to fucking
Kubo yet.
watch
That
it.
No,
was
I
a good
know. Wow,
movie,
that's
too.
animated
Beautiful.
garbage. For real.
fucking
I-
awesome.
off the list, my favorite one that I just went through was Room. Room's the one
was
that
a
stuck
great-
with
that
me
was
the
a great
most, that
film.
I
Wow.
like the most.
I agree. That was a really great film.
Nick,
Yes.
what's your topic?
Building off of La La Land, I want to talk about musicals.
Yes.
I'm very excited for La La Land. I think it represents a pretty unique thing that I don't think we've seen in a very long time, which is A, it's a wholly original musical. B, it's not something that's necessarily in vogue right now in the time of Star Wars movies and comic book movies. But everyone seems pretty hyped about that. And there's and I think it's because there's just a certain magic to the trailer and a magic to the cast and a magic to Damien Chazelle, who's the guy that did Whiplash. So I wanted to gauge, hear from you guys what your thoughts were on it and musicals in general right now. Keeping in mind, of course, that they're still doing all these live event musicals. They just did Hairspray, which was I think did the worst of all of them up to date. And then, obviously Disney's still pumping out musicals left and right, and they've got a whole slate of live action musicals that are coming out in the next few years. So I just wanted to gauge your guys' temperature on these. And are you excited about them?
Yeah, I'm excited for La La Land.
Yeah.
That trailer is awesome, and it's what we've talked a lot in the last topic of I love Emma Stone and I love Ryan Gosling. So sure, you're in this movie that looks fun, and that's the big thing. What you're talking about, it's not a popular thing in Star Wars and comic books and all these things, but it's standing out because it's different, because it looks so different. And that trailer feels so different and feels so fun.
It pops.
Exactly.
There's just there's a magic to it.
It's that one. It's the one moment in the trailer where she goes, "I just heard you play," and he walks
my
up and just
God.
immediately starts kissing her.
It's fucking
I'm
awesome.
like, boom!
But then it's that
Good trailer.
would have been a good moment in a trailer. But the thing that totally sold me on it was the music sounds very fun, and the scenes of them in the observatory thing and
They're floating around,
they're
having-
floating around, the effects and shit. It's cool because it is the first time in a very long time that we're getting a musical that's not based on a Broadway play. Correct? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's awesome because it's made to be a movie, so it's a fucking visual spectacle. Whereas usually there's movies based on Broadway stuff that is just kind of adapting stage plays, so they're a little bit more grounded.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
they have to be, because everything's on a set and people are actually acting it out. It's super cool. And with things like Hamilton on that side, and a couple years ago was the Wicked.
Yeah.
the Book of Mormon.
And Book of Mormon. Yeah, they're definitely, they're still niche, but they're coming back in vogue. And I think all the Hairspray and stuff, that's more just
Well, Hairspray was huge.
fun. I'm talking about the
The live
recent
action. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that Hairspray was a legitimately huge, is still a huge thing. In
What up,
Broadway
Ricky
musical.
Lake?
Yeah.
Was she in it?
Well, yeah, it was based on she was in the original movie with Johnny Depp. I think it was her and Johnny Depp. I know that's Crybaby, I'm thinking. Ricky Lake was in Hairspray with Harvey Firestein, and who else was in it? I'm looking at you. You never seen it.
No, I've seen Hairspray. That's how I just gave a shout out to Ricky Lake, but I don't remember the main guy she was in there with.
Shit, I can't
Because it was
Zac Efron? No.
it was
Zac
like
Efron was in Hairspray.
Was he? Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
so
the
it's-
remake though, not
No, not this one. That's what I'm talking about. There was a movie, and then it
pull 'em
became.
apart.
Then I think the movie was based on the Broadway play, though.
There was a play, then there was a movie, then there was a
Sonny Bono. Is that who you're trying to
TV
say?
show.
Right. Anyway, so recently they redid the Broadway show in this live format, and everyone seemed to like it. Have you guys ever seen an actual musical on Broadway,
Not on Broadway. No.
or just in general in a
Yeah.
musical, like on stage as a stage
Yeah,
play?
Les Mis, Wicked.
What did you think of Wicked?
I liked Wicked a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was real cool.
It's a fascinating medium, and as is any stage play. Like when I saw the Harry Potter show in London, it just doesn't. You can't recreate that in any other setting. When you're actually seeing real actors and you're seeing the spectacle of something that real artists have put on, and it's not fake and there's no CG. There's something special about when that all comes together. So I'm very excited. And of course, if you haven't figured it out by now, we haven't seen La La Land. I'm very excited to see La La Land and report back on that, because I hope they can actually capture some of that magic, and it looks like they are. And also, it's about probably my most favorite subject, which is trying to make it in Hollywood. It's very romantic. It's very much
something
about
very special about it.
a down and out jazz pianist and a would be actress. So I don't know. pretty excited about it. But then I went and saw Moana and kind of kicked my feeling for a musical.
How I don't understand how you didn't like it. So many people liked it. It seemed like it was a slam dunk. The Rock.
I thought it was good. I didn't think that the music was particularly standout, and that was my biggest gripe with it.
That's interesting. 'Cause I haven't seen it yet, but all the people I know that have seen it say that the music is a step up from Disney stuff in recent years.
There is the one song that they keep coming back to, which I thought was good. Everything else, I couldn't tell you what was good or bad about it. It's not Frozen by any stretch of the imagination. In that, I don't think that they're I don't think they're trying to do anything particularly new with it. It was beautifully made, all the technicality, but like the technical nature of the movie was gorgeous. But it was a little weird for me. I don't know. And part of it may have had to do with the fact that it's so very much culturally placed in the Hawaiian culture that I think that maybe some part of it was like I had a little hard time relating to it. I've never been to Hawaii. I'm not familiar with that much. I'm not familiar with the legend of Maui, who is the character that The Rock plays. And so I just, watching it, I'm like, there's nothing for me really to grasp here as a 36-year-old white adult male watching this with his friends. But it was fun, and it's definitely worth a watch. It's not, when you think Frozen, you're like, oh, that's something that really has a cultural impact and really pushes the medium forward and really pushes the sort of the themes forward and does something new. This one I think is kind of a little more paint by numbers.
That's interesting. I mean, I know definitely from the whole cultural representation thing, I know that Moana is getting a lot of positive feedback for giving, colored princesses more of a viable option. I mean, it's the first real, Pacific Islander.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people that are like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, there'll be someone at Disneyland that's
Looks like me.
Yeah. And so.
No, and again, I'm not knocking the film for that. It's just from my perspective, it's just a culture I know nothing about. And it's really it's the first time me watching a movie that was completely set in that world. And it was cool, but I don't know. There's just something about it that didn't grab me. It wasn't 100% for me on that.
I mean, that's the thing. Settings can really make or break stuff for you. Like Pokemon Sun and Moon. Like I was so not interested in it because it was that whole Hawaiian thing. I'm just like, I don't really like that. Playing it, I'm like, I dealt with it. And I was cool with it, but it's like, I don't really like Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I love being there, but I don't like it as like a,
place to catch fake monsters.
Sure.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. No, you don't want to catch
It's real to
real
me,
monsters.
damn it.
Sorry about that. Colin, how do you feel about musicals?
I think they're fun. I mean, I used to love Rent when I was a kid, and
What did you loved Rent?
yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I was very exposed to
What
these things.
side were you on that in that whole argument with Rent? Because my biggest criticism of Rent is that it's just about from my perspective, I see it from the landlord who's just trying to get his fucking rent from these people that won't pay rent.
Yeah, so my sister Dana was really into growing up where I grew up, we were in great proximity to Broadway, so she used to go to see plays all the time, and even in high school and in college, and so I was just introduced to these things through soundtracks that she would buy, and I know the Rent soundtrack really well. I also really loved the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. What is it called? Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd, yeah.
I liked that one a lot.
If we're giving shout outs to soundtracks we listened to and never watched the whole thing, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was
Boom.
rocking
God.
Donny Osmond on my CD player.
So Sweeney Todd, it was a weird one. Me and Mike Pope did the light and sound for a production of that in high school. And so,
Really?
yeah, and it was like my only exposure to that ever. I did the lights for it. The show was fun. And it was for this thing called Gateway, which is like a pretty big Long Island traveling playhouse where people groups come from Broadway or from other places and stay at this basically estate on Long Island and then put on shows for a few
that's
days and
really
then
cool.
they leave. So people really like that, and they have like a youth thing that kind of fills the space between when big names come every few weeks. And so we got involved in that, and I remember that soundtrack really well too. It was really, really good. So I think musicals are fun. The one musical I actually really, really want to see that I think is a little more of like skews way older is Jersey Boys, because I'm a huge I'm a huge Four Seasons fan, and I'd love to see that.
That's a perfect example of I watched the movie and I'm like, fuck, I should have seen this on the stage. That is a show that needs to be seen live. The movie's cool and the music's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, because it's all that Frankie Valli music and that old school crooning music. But that's one that if it ever comes, I don't think it's here. It was here.
It was
a
here
while,
for a long time,
but I think it's gone now. If it ever comes back, we should go see that. I'd love to see that on stage.
I try to, whenever I go to Vegas, I'm not, I don't have the foresight enough to be like, I want to go see a show.
Yeah.
And when I'm there, I look and then everyone's scalping tickets to Jersey Boys or to Penn and Teller or something like that. And I'm like, I'd love to go see one of these things. And Jersey Boys they're just like always there. I'm sure it's like the 17th cast or whatever. I don't care. It's like as long as they sound like Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, that's cool with me. So, yeah. So there's certain musicals that speak to me. I have no problem with the genre. I think it takes an incredible amount of talent. I have more of an aversion to seeing anything on a stage if I can see it on a screen. So that's just my philosophical stance, not against it, but with it, where I'm like, I'll go see these things, but I'm not like super about it. You know?
Well, it's an uncomfortable sort of setting, you know, like the stage show is not something that you feel like you can get up and move around or go to the bathroom whenever you need to. You know, you're kind of locked into that chair until the act break. And there is also something where it's a much more active manner of viewing because you're actually watching real people who can see you.
Yeah.
So if you're not like, you're just aware that there's like, these are real people on stage. And then of course the cast does their job right. You disappear into it like you would anything else. But yeah, I mean, my original exposure to musicals was through my brother, who in high school started doing musicals there. And actually that kind of led me to do them, but he did Cabaret. I think it was the first one he did. And then I think they did Chicago. And then those just happened to be, obviously they were pretty popular at the time. And then both of those got made into movies after Moulin Rouge hit and was like huge. Everyone's like, let's do more musicals. And then Chicago was huge and Cabaret was big too. Wait, did they do Cabaret? They redid Cabaret, I think. They definitely did Chicago. That was the Richard Gere, Renee Zellweger.
Yeah.
But I think Cabaret was also redone, if I'm not mistaken.
Anyway,
Anyway,
with Nightcrawler, or was he on in the Broadway one?
he might have been in Broadway one.
Alan Cummings, that's his name.
Yeah. But,
No, it was similar from you. Like I think the Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat soundtrack, right, was just like everywhere. Of course, I was going to a Catholic school, so like I liked enough of the songs to pick up the CD or ask for the CD and listen to it. But then getting to high school, like I did all the plays and I did most of the musicals. You know what I mean? That was the thing of like, okay, cool, and that's where like, all right, French class was going to go see Les Mis, so I was like, all right, well, I'll go see Les Mis one night or whatever it was, and we did like. I have to have seen more and just not remember them. Not that many, but no. And then like going to the funny thing about the people being able to see you cracks me up because there's Illinois Theater Fest, which is like the thing where all the theater kids go from the different schools come together and the best shows are put on or whatever. And none of ours ever got put on, obviously. But you went there and it was a way to get out of class and go south in Illinois and just fucking hang out with your friends and see plays and stuff. And we went and saw one that I think was about Mark Twain. I forget. It's not important to the story. But we were front row for it. And the two actors came out and went to the front of the stage right in front of us. And as the lights come up, the woman acts like she has stones in her hands and goes like this. And like she's skipping them on a lake. But it was so jarring that I freaked the fuck out thinking she was throwing something at me. Because she did it and did that. And I was like, in the front row, like, fucking Jesus. And like, to their credit of these like high schools, junior and seniors, nobody reacted. But they had to have seen me just wick the fuck out. I'm like, what the fuck? And all my friends, like all the other theater kids around me were losing their minds that I just fucking done this. But it was
That's good.
I was like, what the hell is you doing? Oh, Jesus God.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus God.
But do you know what's strange to me is that none of us here got caught up in the Hamilton fever.
But see, that's my thing is like
everyone on the fucking Twitter for like a month. Yeah,
but
like,
I mean,
Hamilton.
But that's the thing about it, where it's like
suck Hamilton.
I feel like I want to go the other direction with it, where for Wicked, I forget, I can't even think of the song, Popular or whatever. The song was so popular, and I was like, that's a good song. But I'm not gonna pick up the soundtrack. I want to see the show, and then I'll listen to the music, which I did for a little bit. You know what I mean? Whereas I don't want to see it out of context. Like
Hamilton's coming.
Book of it is, and the tickets went on sale last night, and it was like a 4-hour wait to be in there, and then it was like $1,200.
Stoked, yeah.
It's insane to get tickets from us here last night. But like
Lion King's here; it's easy to get those tickets.
Fuck that! I don't want to see that crap.
Fuck you.
I'll go see Lion King with you.
But Book of Mormon, like, is the other thing where you can't get tickets to it. It came through San Francisco, and it was super. And I'm like, it's supposedly awesome. It's supposedly really fucking good. But I don't want to listen to the soundtrack and not see it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather, and like same thing with Hamilton, where it's like Hamilton sounds super cool, but I don't want to just listen to the soundtrack and not see it.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's some part of me that will never like Hamilton.
I mean, from what I saw, because everyone was inundating me with these things, and I watched some videos and watched some songs. I'm like, this is fine. I don't get why this is such a huge phenomenon. But again, I don't have all of the context that is necessary. You would think that I would like it more.
A lot of people just really thought it was cool, and then everyone else was like, I'll think it's cool too. And then I listened to the music, and I was like, I was exactly the same with you. I was like, it sounds like Linkin Park did a musical about Alexander Hamilton. I'm like, that's all it does to me.
Now you sold me on
Mike Shinoda as John Jay.
Shout out to Grease. We haven't talked about Grease.
Oh, Grease.
Grease sucks too.
Grease is fucking.
You guys the classic.
Grease was
There's
I think the
some
first.
moments in it that
Grease
are
was the
a
first
little
musical in high school where I was like, I'm good. I don't need to
Really?
do. I don't
Music's
need
so
to
good
do
in
this.
Grease, though.
I don't
They
need to
got
do
the
Grease.
jams. They got the hits.
Grease lightning.
So good. Come the fuck on. But the Lion King though was the only one I saw in real life, and it wasn't even a whole thing. Like when I was really little, I must have been like 6. They did a thing in SF where it was just like a preview thing. So they only did Circle of Life, and that shit blew my mind. And I think that experience explains me today. Like just like the whole performance aspect of it, and just the like. There's nothing, you can't go bigger than that. There's these fucking giraffes walking through, and the fucking, like, the set is amazing. Everything about it was like so holy shit that I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to be a fucking Lion King.
There you go.
But not do musicals.
But not musicals. But then it's
Don't
like,
wanna
I don't know, I love musicals a lot for how few of them I've seen, but I really like listening to music because I feel like they attack music in such a unique way where musicals, the vocals and the instruments align in such a way that you don't hear in normal music, right? Where it's like the voice is kind of just another instrument to it. And it's like they weave in and out of each other in very interesting ways. And like instruments are used completely differently than they are normally. And there'll be like instrumental sections in places that add to the pacing of the play that songs would never do. And it's just interesting. It kind of keeps you on your feet. There's all these weird sound effects and shit being made with violins or like random ass instruments. And that's cool.
Yeah.
And I really, really fell in love with musicals with South Park, Bigger, Longer,
musical.
Uncut. That was just fucking perfect. It took
Yeah.
this amazing thing, South Park, and it was just like, we're just going to make it 10 million times better by making one of the best movies of all time and having songs that are funny as hell
Yeah.
and just so clever, so smart.
Yeah, I love that. I still remember that soundtrack. I bought that. It was awesome. It was really, really good. Yeah. Kyle's mom's a bitch. It's like, man, that was a
Biggest bitch in the whole wide
classic
world.
one. I like the In Season God.
Every song's a classic in that shit. There's no bad ones. Like the Satan talking about how he just wants to come up and just be with the people. It's fucking hilarious. Blame Canada.
Yeah, Blame Canada. I remember
Blame
when I was at
Canada's
Northeastern, I remember someone had a Canadian flag hanging in their dorm window or whatever, and people across, it was like at this place called Stetson where it was a big dorm, but then there was like a dining hall there, and the people across the way would just play Blame Canada out of their windows like constantly, like for months, like during like the day, like just to insult this one person they probably didn't even know.
It's great. That's the beauty of South Park. And then there was Team America World Police.
Yeah.
Bizarre movie.
Which I will never forget seeing the trailer for that in theaters because that was one of those moments because it's a different time.
The last time that Trey Parker met Stone tried to do something different.
If that trailer comes out now, it'd be like, all right, cool, I'm used to it. Actually, I guess the Sausage Party trailer did catch me off guard.
I still haven't seen that. Is it fun?
I haven't seen the movie.
People are so
I watched that. I didn't put
offended
it on the
about
list.
it.
The trailer looks like it's like, oh, it's a nice little talking animal movie, but it's talking food. And all of a sudden it gets fucking
it
really
gets nasty.
dark.
I want to see it. It's supposed to be really really inappropriate.
Yeah, I watched it. I forgot. It didn't make my list. I forgot about it. But yeah, I watched it. Enjoyable. Weird ending, but whatever. It's food being weird. Nothing not to like about that.
There you go.
If you didn't know, this has been the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Ow. Each bring a random topic conversation for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny where you get every episode early along with a bunch of exclusive goodies, perks, and deals. Right, Nick?
Correct.
Thanks, bud. If you have no money to toss our way, no
Correct.
big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny where you get every episode broken up day by day, topic by topic, until it goes up is one big MP3 and video for your viewing and or listening pleasure. Until next time, have a happy new year, and know it's been our pleasure to serve.